racing. Yes, we are racing. Oh, look at the Camaro. Johnny Mac put it up the inside.
Vamos!
There's the checkered flag. Give him a hand. Well done, Marco. This is about to get exciting. We're going to watch a true New Zealand motorsport legend, Greg Murphy. A well-deserved victory for the Heart of Racing.
Good morning and welcome to the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series. We're here in hopefully sunny, it is pretty sunny now, but we're in Levels Raceway in Timaru, and I'm here with Kate Padden, who is the series coordinator. We thought we'd have a quick catch up where everything is, because obviously this is the final, this is a big one, someone's going to take some trophies away at the end. Good morning, Kate, how are things?
Things are pretty good, like you say, it's starting to warm up. It was pretty cold this morning and we've had a bit of rain overnight, but it looks like it's pretty dry now and it's going to stay like this for the rest of the day hopefully.
So first up, we really need to thank our sponsors that have helped us get here today, and of course Carter's Tyre Service. As you'll see, I'm wearing the overalls as the series sponsor, and the Heart of Racing has helped us bring this broadcast to you guys. And the Heart of Racing is helping the Starship Foundation raise funds. We'll get a little bit more of that story later on in the day and talk to the drivers. But first up, we've got the 3-hour cars out now, but we're going to have the 1-hour cars come out for their qualifying very soon. So let's have a chat about them. Obviously, the 1-hour series is really up for grabs, right?
Yeah, definitely. We had the Collins-Ross team unfortunately have troubles last round, which meant they didn't finish the race. And now it's kind of opened it up for other people to take the title. Marco's back. I heard him talking to Chris Henderson yesterday about strategy and I think trying to psych him out. So that'll be a great battle. Obviously, we haven't seen Chris here since last season when he had the crash in Teretonga, so it's awesome he's got his new car out and it looks to be super fast.
I was looking at the times yesterday and there was a bit of a battle. Marco Schelp, of course, if you're watching, last time won the race, but he didn't race in the first one. So he can't win, the title that is, but he's really gunning and he's got some great times. He did a 102.8 yesterday. Chris Henderson, brand new car out. So we're having a bit of a Friday ding-dong and he did a 103, which is pretty fast times for that class, right?
It's super fast, and I mean the circuit wasn't, I wouldn't say perfect conditions yesterday, so those kind of times is awesome to see. And we've got our other Porsches in the battle as well. We've got Ben and Gary Derrick, who are our Timaru locals. They'll be fighting for the win. They're equal at the moment with Martin and Dippy, both sitting first overall, and they're both here this weekend again being fast on the track too. But
yeah, I think the Derricks were third fastest for a lot of those sessions yesterday, and I had to talk to one of their guys this morning and said, "You're nervous?" And they, of course they are.
Yeah, I mean this is their local track, so they've done a lot of laps around here, so they've got a point to prove.
And then let's drop to the other end of there's a big battle going on in the 2-litre class yet again with locals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In Class A, there's 2 Civics full of Andrews sitting first overall, and it's all going to come down to this weekend and how they go. I know the Gibson booth car had some problems yesterday that they've gone away and fixed, and so they're back and ready to go. And the Kitching Bartlett car also is ready to go as well. And like you said, everyone's from here, so everyone knows the circuit really, really well. And
so the other classes, who's leading?
So Class B, Jordan Mickles is leading in his TCR. He's been pretty unbeaten all season and last year as well, so really hoping that he clinches that today and has a smooth day.
And then in Class C?
Help me out here. I'm thinking...
It won't be the BBs who are the reigning champions, will it? Because they had an issue at the big car.
Yeah, well they had, like you say, they had an issue last round. Last round. Goodness, it's been a long season already.
All right, we'll come back to you with that one.
Yeah.
But 3-hour cars are out at the moment. Times yesterday in the 3-hour at the front were really fast. We saw cars circulating in around the high 58 seconds, and the first 3 cars were very, very close on times, and that was... Did you have a look at those times yesterday?
I didn't even get a chance to watch the racing yesterday, so you're going to have to tell us all the gossip.
So basically, you can probably guess it, but the GT3 cars were the fastest cars out there, and it was really a battle between the Foster Reid number 1 car, which had problems last time, so they're coming into the final round. I think they're only in 5th or 6th, right?
Yeah, they sort of came out of contention last round because while they had the problems and they got the car fixed, they got back on the track, but were 2 laps short of 75%. for classification. So unfortunately, they're out of the title contention, but they're back here with a point to prove.
And the real, for overall 3 hour, and the 3 hour is the big race, for overall win of that, in first place is the heart of racing, right?
Yeah, so they've won both rounds so far. They've been unbeaten, but it might be today that they may take 3 from 3, but they might not.
And also the real surprise is a little bit underdog is the Christina Orr-West and the Brendan Leach Dale ITM Audi. It's an older spec car, so at best the older spec Audi is probably a second and a half, 2 seconds slower than the new spec Audi. So, I mean, for them to be in second place, very, very close, just shows that reliability, and they've had good pace, they've had 2/3, and so they're just sitting there, and I'd say they'd be fairly nervous sort of watching up and down the lane to see who's doing what, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, they are a little bit off the pace being in an older spec car, but reliability is what gets them there, and at the end of the day, they've just got to finish. That's what it all comes down to.
Very, very good driver pair too, and a real good team behind them, and well done to them to be in that position. So, and in third place overall going into this final round?
So Lees and Kelly in their Porsche third overall, and again, that's really awesome to see. They're a Class D car, and they're battling away with those Class E ones.
Now, I think we might have some vision of it, but they just had, just before we went to air, they had a little bit of an incident. I don't know how bad it was because I was a bit far away to see it, and I don't think we got the spin, but they did actually touch the tyre wall. So hopefully it's not too bad and they can get the car out, because they've been really reliable, and their car's not a GT3 spec car, it's running in the class below that. So for them to be in that position is an amazing run for them. So hopefully they haven't had too much of an issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happened while we were standing here, and it's quite hard to see from that far away, but fingers crossed it wasn't much damage and they can get back on the track and try and bring home third.
And obviously the other classes through that field, there's some battles going on there. Let's just start back again at the 2-litre class. What's that looking like in the 3 hour?
At the moment, quite repeatedly, the Peugeot of Tim Stanton, Leighton Tremaine, is tied up with Noel Simons and David Berry, and they're the underdogs of that class. But like we say before, it's reliability, that sees them clinch those titles. So they're also sitting 5th overall in the entire championship, which is insane considering how many GT3 cars we had last round. But you got to finish to get those points.
And if you've been following us for the last 5 or 6 years, those guys in the seriously fun Peugeot 106, they drive the car as hard as they can. They've been on holiday in the car between rounds as well, which is crazy. Drove the car, it's warranted, it's registered. We're going to do an in-car interview with Victor Cattermole, who's back for our commentary team during the day. And they just have a real lot of fun. They do some crazy funny antics, and they've promised me they're going to pull out a couple of things. I think there's already been a tarot card reading, is it?
I don't think it's been yet, but it's all set up ready to go. And I think Tim's going to be subbing out when he gets out of the car and going to do some readings.
Well, there you go. So we'll try and bring you a tarot card reading to see who's going to win what. But then, so the class up from that, what's that looking like? That's Class C, right?
So Class B, Rowan Shepherd and Lachlan Fitzgerald Symes are quite comfortably leading that class. They're in the Track Tech Audi. But they've got Hayden Padden and Jordan Mickles joining this round to hopefully give them, I guess, a race for their money. And, of course, who else am I thinking of here? I'm getting confused with the 1 hour, aren't I?
Well, I guess that's because this weekend Track Tech have brought 4 cars to the track. They're running 3 TCR cars, so they're all Audis. All cars are Audis at Track Tech Racing. And they're also running the GT3 brand new spec Audi R8. So there's a lot of Track Tech cars, so that's probably why you got confused. But that GT3 car is being run by who's in that today?
So Andrew Waits jumped in that car with our president Scott O'Donnell. So he's jumping out of a Porsche and straight into an Audi, and I think yesterday he was saying it was taking a little bit to get used to it, but now I think he's quite comfortable and having a lot of fun.
A lot of fun driving one of those cars. They're very twitchy cars compared to some of the cars, but they're definitely one of the cars to beat. So it'll be interesting because that car was second in the overall championship last year.
Yeah, they did a really impressive performance last year, and we haven't seen it back until this round, so it's really cool to have the car back on our track.
So we got a little distracted, and other classes, I see she's laughing, so what other classes have we left out that we need to cover off?
Well, Class C, we've got the Davies Mitchell RX-8 back there, and the McDermotts as well, and their Toyota 86. I know the Davies Mitchell car's actually just left the track. They're not going to make qualifying, they're scrambling, they said minor issue. with maybe a wink, and they've skirted off, but they said they'll be back for the start of the race, but just starting off the back of the grid. So it might be the McDermott's race to hold on to and take the title.
Wow, so that's pretty good for them because they didn't run the first round, so and it's great to see them back. That's a car that's been involved in this series for a number of years, right?
Yeah, they were involved for God knows how many years. I think took last season off, and it's really cool to have them back this year.
All right, so that pretty much wraps up most of the categories and classes, and it's going to be an amazing day. It looks like the weather's going to hold for us. We were a little bit worried this morning when we got up and there was rain, but it seems to have stayed away, touch wood. And we'll go back over, I think the 3-hour cars have just finished their session, and we're going to have the 1-hour qualifying. That lasts for 30 minutes, and then there's a second 3-hour qualifying, and then from there we go straight into the 1-hour race. What time's the 1-hour race start? 11:15
for the 1 hour.
So basically, we'll go through to the end of the 1-hour race, we'll take a little break for lunch, and then we'll come back for the beginning of the 3-hour race. And what time's that?
That's at 1:15.
So there you go, that's the 2 times again for the 1 and 3 hour.
11:15 for the 1 hour, 1:15 for the 3 hour.
See, I can't remember numbers, so I just pass it over to her. But anyway, we've got Victor Catamol and we've got Chris Dunn back in the commentary booth there. They won't have too much to commentate on at the moment, but the cars will be going out again soon. And we'll bring you up and down the pit lane and bring you all the action from down here at Levels Raceway, and we'll see you over the day.
Thanks, Adam. Good morning, race fans. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Welcome to Timaru, South Canterbury, and the Levels Raceway. We've just finished the first of the 3-hour qualifying, and we're going to go into the 1-hour qualifying shortly. And I've got Chris Dunn with me this morning just to help start things off. It was a little bit of moisture overnight, and a cool morning. I know it was a cool morning, Chris, because my nipples were hard and fun to play with.
Welcome, Victor. Hey, it's great to be here. The conditions out there are looking really, really good at the moment. Bit of nice high overhead cloud, which will keep the temperatures down for the cars and the drivers, and really no sign of rain at this stage. So there was obviously some early predictions that it was going to be a wet race meeting, but things are looking really good at this stage. And like I say, the conditions are actually really favourable for both car and driver, so that's really good.
And a good session this morning. We weren't streaming that, but it was a times were pretty sharp. We got a 57.7 at the top of the charts.
Yeah, exactly. The Foster Reid Audi R8. So that's a full. That's a full second under the lap record that car set a couple of years ago. So that just shows you the conditions are favourable, and 3 cars under the magic minute here at Timaru, which is very fast. The like you say, the Audi 57.7, then the Ribieras Kelly Aston Martin on a 58.0. And then the Simon Gilbertson Johnny McIntyre Camaro on a 58.7. So that race for pole position is going to be all on.
Even the Leach Christina Orr-West car doing a minute flat is pretty quick for them.
Most definitely.
Okay, we're going to cross over to Adam in the pits.
So we're here with Alex Ribieras. You've had a bit of a run round now, yeah?
Yes, absolutely, Adam. It feels really good to be here in Timaru. It's our first time here, as it has been something pretty normal for us with Darren, just learning the tracks on Fridays. And yesterday we had a very good day, and working a lot on the data, getting to know the little secrets around here, which can make a big difference. And we are second so far in Q1. We will go again for it in Q2.
So I'm really surprised there's actually a simulator of Timaru Raceway.
Yes, we actually were lucky that there was one, and with Darren we practiced a lot in the sim before coming here. We just got surprised to see that there's a new surface that was actually repaved a couple of weeks ago, I think. So everything is a bit different than we expected, but it's the same for everyone. So the guys have been doing a great job. Everybody at the Heart of Racing and IMS team, they have done a tremendous job of understanding how the track surface is different, adapting the car to it. We found some interesting things in the car yesterday, and hopefully they pay off today in the race.
Right, so we'll come and try and get an interview with you later on and see how things are running. Just very, very quickly, because we're quite early in the broadcast, can you give us a quick rundown of how the Harder Racing works? Because you've got the sponsorship that you're trying to do with Starship, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. We are very involved with the Starship Foundation, trying to help the kids everywhere around New Zealand. So we feel very, very lucky to be able to partner with such an amazing group of people, and that we are able to race is amazing. It's so much fun, and for sure it's great with Aston Martin, with international motorsport. It's my passion, so I'm the happiest kid in the paddock, but if on top of that you can do it for a much greater cause than just winning races, and you can provide help and support the Starship Foundation, then it's the top on the cherry.
So is there any, I mean, obviously raising the funds is one thing, but is there anything with the kids that you guys do as well?
Yeah, I don't know how much I can tell you right now, but we have some stuff programmed to involve the kids so that they can also feel part of the program. We are raising not just funds, but also awareness, which is, I think, particularly important in these times. And it's been a pleasure so far. We have enjoyed our partnership with the Starship way more than we have ever experienced.
Right, well, thanks for that. And obviously during the day you'll see there's a web address that's going to come up on screen, which will give you more information, and when some of those announcements come out, we'll see them on the website, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. For any information, just go to the Heart of Racing team.co.nz and theheartofracing.co.nz, and you will see every single piece of information that you need to donate, to be part of the team, to come to the races, to follow the races in the live stream. So check it out.
Right, all right, well, there's cars coming out, and we'll have to move the cameraman on, otherwise you'll get pushed into. But thanks for that, Alex. We'll go back to Victor Catamole up in the broadcast suite, and we will be talking over the day, yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. And Alex down in the pits from Heart of Racing. So you've got that website, heartofracing.co.nz. And Chris, we've got the 1 hour cars out there, and a little bit of excitement with the 777 car I see there on screen.
Yeah, he's already been off the track once, and then tracking around quite slowly there on screen at the moment, so probably just trying to get some heat in the tyres and brakes and bits and pieces of that car. It's certainly a beast, as we've seen at Tiratonga. They had a wretched time at Ruapuna, so they'll be looking for a better run here. Though they've been having some electrical gremlins with that car. I was talking to Paul this morning about it, so that's a real shame, because that's certainly a fire-breathing monster that we want to see giving the German cars a run for their money. So
yes, exactly. And the rumour is that they may be looking at the 3 hour.
They were looking at doing the 3 hour here as well, but they've decided against that. They're one of the teams that are weighing up their options, basically trying to get to qualify for the New Zealand Champs at Highlands in 3 weeks' time. So that was going to be a strategic move from them, but they have they've pulled the pin on that idea. They just want to concentrate on getting another good solid 1 hour under their belts.
Right. So that's that 777 car that we've got on screen. We've been following around. It's coming around into what we call McKissick. No, we've cut over to the little Porsche. So the part of the track we're looking at here has just been resurfaced, and so there was quite a bit of action yesterday, because these are the first cars to actually run on this new surface.
Yeah, that's right, Victor. The South Canterbury Car Club, in conjunction with their partners, have put a couple of $100,000 into the reseal over the last few weeks. So yeah, it's hard for us. There's a very, very small window where they can actually do that before the track gets too busy to take the 2 or 3 weeks out of the schedule. So yeah, we've had it for a couple of years, to be fair, when they've done little bits of resealing, so we're the first ones to run on it.
Right.
So like after our race it'll be absolutely perfect, because it'll have tons of rubber down on it, but until then there's a lot of guys that are complaining that it's been very, very slippery out there, so that's just going to add to the action that we're going to see today, and one of the things that the drivers will just have to take into consideration. But as Alex said, it's the same for everyone, so 100% correct.
Now that car that we're looking at on screen, tell us a bit about that.
Well, that is a recreation of Chris Henderson's old Toyota AE86, obviously rebodied into a GT86 shell. So Chris had a really unfortunate accident with us at Tirotonga testing last year, and that car was pretty much completely destroyed.
Yeah.
So they have spent. He was counting the days even when he was posting to social media about it. So just over a year rebuilding that car. It's got the same engine, gearbox, diff, etc. that the old car had, but in a new body shell.
Right. So he was able to save those.
He was, luckily, yes.
Yeah.
But the shell was completely destroyed. It was a really high-speed accident.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic to see that car here. This is its debut. It's only done one test in the wet at Tirotonga previously, so Chris isn't expecting big things out of that car, but it's absolutely fabulous to see it here running around with us again.
Yep. So he's doing conservative 109 for a start, but we'll keep an eye on that car as the session goes on. Marco Schelp on the top of the chart so far at a 105, which is a bit slower than yesterday, but it's early days and still a bit of heat to get into tyres and things. So he's only done 3 laps. So
yeah, so 22 minutes to go in this session. So the boys have got lots of time to build up into it.
And there'll be a fair number of cars out there. So there's a bit of traffic. There's currently, I think, 33 cars on track. So.
I think we had an entry of we had 40, but I think we've lost maybe 1 or 2.
Okay.
So still in the high 30s, close to 40 cars. Busy little circuit this with that amount of cars on it.
Yeah, because the circuit's about 2.7 kilometres.
2.4 it is.
2.4. So it's pretty tight, and it's in qualifying. It's with such a variation in speed of these cars. It's sometimes hard to get a clear good run,
Yeah, most definitely. We're interesting to see how the session pans out, because if we look at what we've seen at Ruapuna, near the end of this session there was actually hardly any cars on track.
Right.
So we've extended the qualifying sessions this year. They've gone out from 20 minutes to 30 minutes, just to give these guys a bit more of a chance to go through and get some clear laps.
Yep. And so. So the pick of the crop, would you say, in the 1 hour? Marco will be hard to beat.
Marco will be hard to beat. Marco's also got nothing to lose, because he's not in the championship run. He missed the opening round at Tirotonga, so that gives him an advantage, in being able to go, hammer down and get into it. Whereas the likes of the Martin Dippy car, which we're seeing on screen now, the orange Porsche, he's basically tied for the lead in the championship. So
he's got everything to lose.
He's got everything to lose, exactly. So, and that's one of the things that plays out in this endurance racing is that we've got different guys with different strategies, with different goals as well, and that makes a difference to how they drive the race.
Sure. And to be fair, the Dippy car is only half a second off or 600ths off the fastest lap. So in qualifying, so he's there or thereabouts, and 1 hour is still even. It's a fair amount of time in racing. So anything can happen, and that half a second can be made up just in the pit stop.
Oh, easily.
So so it's going to be an interesting day. The risk was of with that new surface around the tight part of the track that we're going to see a bit of action. So you want to stay tuned for the whole day, because anything could happen.
Anything can and probably will happen.
Probably will. So we look at the. I'm just looking at the points, and I think Adam and Kate have probably been through this a little bit, but it's tied for the overall in the 1 hour heading into this. So between the Derek Porsche and the Martin Dippy Porsche, both on 176 points.
Yeah. So what that means is that basically whoever finishes higher up out of those two wins the series.
Yep.
So it's a dash for the cash, if you like.
Yep. And then Russell McKenzie in third is 158 points. So he's 18 points behind. And the way the point system works is that even if they finished, 1 and 2 places behind Russell, they would still be effectively.
It's actually going to be very hard for Russell this weekend, considering that he's not here.
Okay, that makes it a lot harder. Where's his commitment? So what's happened to Russell? Was he?
He had a business thing to attend to, unfortunately, that's sort of come up at the last minute.
Okay, I heard we're going to go down to the pit, so we've got Adam ready to interview. Adam.
We're just here with Marco Schelp, who's just come in. He's qualifying in the 1 hour race, of course. How is it out there, Marco?
Sorry, I didn't understand. A little bit louder, please.
How are you going out there?
Oh, it's very, very busy. We just went out on cold tires just to get me warmed up a little bit because there are no tire warmers for drivers. So now I'm fine. I'm waiting for the end of the session, and then I try to get 1 or 2 free laps to qualify.
So did you think you got a good lap out there, or there's much more in it?
It's a bit of gambling. You have to have a bit of luck because it's a lot of cars out there on this small track. So yeah, you have to be careful not to throw the car away in the qualifying.
You were fastest yesterday. You and Chris Henderson seem to be having a bit of a Friday battle, yeah?
Oh, yes. Chris Henderson with his new car, he's really quick and he's a mate, and it's really fun, and I'm happy to see him here and performing that well, because that's not normal. When you build a car out of the garage, it's usually you have a lot of development, and he just tested one time and he's on the times. He did a 3 flat and I did a 2.8 with similar tires and stuff. So it will be hopefully a good battle between us.
Thanks for that. Well, we'll let you get back to your prep for getting on track, and we'll go back to Victor Cannamore in the commentary booth.
Hey, thanks, Adam. So Marco down there, ever so cool, calm, collected. He's,
tell you who's going really cool, calm and collected right now is Danny Whiting, currently sitting in P1 at the top of the at the timesheet. So that's a really, really good effort there from Danny.
It's a great effort.
But man, is it ever tight there. We've got the first couple of cars are all on the same second, within 200ths of a second of each other. So that's awesome.
Right, so Danny's sitting 4th in the points at 1:49, so we can talk about him because he's here. I mean, he's still in with the money, isn't he? He's sitting, if Russell's not here, that gives him, as long as he finishes, possibly a comfortable 3rd. But, those two top runners, if they have issues or whatever, don't want to put the commentator's curse on them, but Danny's in with a sniff, so it's not all over yet.
Oh, definitely not. I'm not too sure what the number is, but there's probably half a dozen cars or more that can still win that championship. So nothing's over until the proverbial lady sings.
And equally, we've got Jordan Mickles there on 149, so tied for 4th in B class.
Yeah, that's a great effort in that.
It's a great effort.
TCR car.
And Jordan's one of those names we've got to watch, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Jordan's he's stepping up this weekend. He's running in the 3 hour as well with the Hayden Padden rally team and the Hyundai. So that'll be really good to see how those guys go as well.
Yep.
Hey, let's just run through the top 10 that we've got in this session. It's actually starting to mix itself up quite nicely, because we've just had Sam Collins go to the top of the field. Outpaced Danny Whiting, who's now down in 3rd, and the guy we were just talking about, Jordan Mickles, has gone up to 2nd overall in his little TCR Honda. That's absolutely awesome. So we'll just run through the top 10 real quickly for you. Sam Collins currently at the top of the tree in the Mustang, Jordan Mickles in the TCR Honda, then Danny Whiting, Martin Dippy 4th, Ben and Gary Derrick 5th, Marco Schelp 6th, all in the Porsches obviously. Another lot of Porsches, the next two. 7th is Chris Nicholas, 8th is Scott O'Donnell and Alan Dippy, which is they're splitting up this weekend for the... Oh, and we've just got Milne Horn having a big spin down the front straight. I was just about to get to them. They're currently in P9 in this qualifying session. Doesn't look like they have touched the fence, Victor.
No. Are we going to get a replay of that? I'm not sure.
Does look like it's got a flat right rear tyre though.
Yeah, here we go.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, got touched by the little Lotus, is it?
Has indeed.
Oh. Okay, he's not going anywhere. I can see him out the window. They're red flagging this session. So, yeah, that was quite a touch. It's surprisingly quite a dangerous part of the track, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite narrow through there and quite a fast corner. So it has caught a number of cars out over a number of years. But hey, that's one of the things that this series has. It has fast cars, it has slow cars. We ain't going to change that, and you just have to to drive around that.
Sure.
Stuff like that we obviously don't want to see.
No.
But something that's that's really so innocent.
Yep.
Has caused us some dramas.
Okay, we're shooting down to the pits. Adam, over to you.
And I'm here with Andrew Bartlett, are you guys leading the 2 litre class here?
Yeah, we're first equal in Class A.
How is it out there? A bit of rival between all the local Andrews?
Yeah, pity we're sharing beers at the end of the day, so hopefully it ends well.
What's your strategy? I mean, all the cars about the same pace here?
No, they're definitely quicker than us, so our strategy is just to finish. Hopefully we'll get a good pit stop in, maybe pit them with a safety car, but we'll see what happens.
So tell us, how many Hondas are running in the class, and where is everything structured at the moment?
Well, there'll probably be at least half a dozen Hondas in the class. I think the front 3 are all Honda Civics from Timaru. Andrew in our one, and Andrew Gibson and Paul Booth in first place, so it should be good.
Why is everyone called Andrew that races a Honda and comes from Timaru?
It's just a birthright. It just has to happen.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first. If you're called Andrew and you got a Honda, you got to race in endurance racing and be from Timaru. Anyway, we'll go back to Victor and see what's happening out on track. Well,
Yeah, thanks, Adam and Andrew.
One of the Andrews.
One of the Andrews. The Andrew brothers, not like the Andrew sisters.
Exactly.
Are we allowed to say that? Can we?
Hey, we were going through the top 10 just then before we were rudely interrupted by that incident on track.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Andrews, I see the Andrew Gibson Paul Booth car has snuck up into into 12th place overall. So when you run when you've got a 40 car field and you've got a wee 2 litre Civic up in 12th, that's just awesome.
That was pretty.
That
nasty,
was a big
wasn't it?
jump when those cars two touched. They obviously just clipped wheels by the look of that.
Looks like it, doesn't it? Hopefully he's only just lost a tyre though, but that could be.
Yeah, I think the suspension. It did look like that wheel popped out of the back of that Commodore, so that's a real shame. So that's one of the ex V8 Super Tourers, and the little Lotus was Robert Jaya. We turbocharged Lotus Elise.
Right, so just looking down the classes so far, if we start with Class A, we mentioned Andrew Gibson and Paul Booth. 108 pretty much flat. It's pretty quick for that car. And then Tim Dossett, who's got a heap to prove this weekend on a 109. So Tim doesn't like getting second or lower, does he really?
Does any racing driver?
He's not interested in those positions. So that's going to be all on. Mark Meadows in third on a 109.6.
Yeah, that's good. Mark's had a bad run in that little red Lotus, so it's good to see him finally getting up there.
And the Kitching Bartlett car, 111, they'd be a bit disappointed in that. 111 and a half, basically. There's probably a bit more in that car yet.
Yeah, again, they're tied for the lead in that class, so it's a matter of making sure that car gets to the finish.
Yeah.
The Booth Gibson car is obviously faster, and it's 3 seconds a lap faster so far in qualifying, but it's also had its fair share of problems as we go through the series. So. It's the old tortoise and the hare scenario, isn't it, that we always see in endurance racing.
I know that so well.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about that later, obviously, with the 3 So Class B, we've got Jordan Mickles there on a 105. I mean, 3 seconds ahead of Dennis Chapman and the Askew car. Jordan Mickles really in a class of his own in some respects as far as on the track and driving's concerned there.
Yeah, most definitely. It's really good to see the Askews up there in third place. They're another one that had a pretty torrid run this season. Yeah. So good to see them getting getting in there. And then in fourth in that class we've got Debbie Chapman and the other wee TCR Audi. Yeah,
so Dennis's wife. They've both got alterations to the aero down the right side of the cars. I noticed.
Matching dents down the side of them.
They must have the same driving school. The Class C, of course, the Collins car, again in a class of its own, nearly 3 seconds ahead. Okay, we've got Adam down in the pits. Let's go, Adam.
So I'm just here with Sam Collins, who's driving the Collins Mustang. How's it been out there for you?
Yeah, it's been good. We seem to have sorted some gremlins out from yesterday. We had nothing but trouble yesterday, so no, the car's running strong. The team's working hard to get us some good grip. So yeah, the track's busy. Like there's people everywhere. So it's hard to get a real good clean lap. We're going to go out one more time and make one more change and see if it works and if we can get a little bit faster.
How are you finding driving on your own for the 1 hour?
You should probably ask me that after 1 hour. No, it's good. I mean, working hard, training and stuff out of the car as well as in the car. So, yeah, the plan is just to get into a good rhythm, keep the rhythm, and just try and win, really.
So you're looking at the times of the other competitors, or just running your own strategy at the moment?
Yeah. We're always looking at that, but it's, like there's some top drivers in here, and I know they're going to be hard. So I'm just going to do my best and try and bring it home safely and get ready for Cromwell, really.
So people that may be joining us for the first time, give us a quick rundown on what you're actually driving here.
So we're driving a pretty much home-built Mustang. It was a going road car. It's running all NASCAR running gear, engine, diff, drive shaft, everything really, axles. So it's pretty much a car shell put on a NASCAR.
And you got to tell us that number of horsepowers, because there's quite a few of them, isn't there?
Yeah, I can't really count that good, but it's up there. It's up around the 900 horse. Yeah, so it's a bit of a handful, but you just got to learn to drive it and not give it too much, really.
It sounds beautiful. I mean, this thing, the number of revs is quite high too, right?
Yeah, it just loves to rev it. It just doesn't stop pulling, really. It's pretty amazing what they can do out of these engines. So yeah, and get reliability too.
All right, so it's just gone green, so we'll get back out on the track and go back to Victor Catamol and Chris Dunn in the commentary booth.
Okay, thanks Adam. And Sam down there, so learning a wee bit about that beautiful Mustang as the cars come back out on track. Now the good news, which we didn't see on camera, was it appeared that the Holden was driven back into the...
Yeah, that's a really good sign, isn't it? That's obviously had a flat tyre, and I'd suspect some suspension damage, but good to see that they could drive that back down the grass and back into the pit lane. So
the good news is they've got a time on the board, and so they'll be able to work on that car. They've got half an hour, maybe 40 minutes or more to try and repair anything that was possibly broken, and we'd expect to see them out.
Yeah, here's hoping
as
long as they've got the necessary parts, we should definitely see them back. They've got a bit over about an hour to get that car sorted. So,
yep. So just very quickly back to the classes. So race fans are aware. So we were up to Class C in the Collins car, which we've just seen and talked about, followed by Bruce Davidson. 107, and Chris Henderson in that other car, that beautiful car that we've talked about as well. Now Bruce Davidson, let's very quickly just a little bit about him. A little Corvette.
Yep, that's one that they've built at home themselves.
Yep.
So yeah, Bruce has been a campaigner in our series for a long time.
Yep.
Used to race with a guy called Dave Garden in the 3 hour, and then a couple of years ago Dave hung up his driving gloves, so Bruce stepped back to the 1 hour by himself. So
yep.
He's been really competitive in that Class C for a number of years.
Yeah. So one of those characters that if he wasn't here, you'd notice. You'd go, well, we expect to see him every year. He's always there, and he's a delight of a chap to sit and have a beer with afterwards. And
the other guy that's in that class that's a bit of a character, he's only just, this is his second round with us. He entered Ruapuna at very, very late notice, is Roger Nees in the NZ-V8 Ute. I was talking to him yesterday, and we were discussing the possibility of rain today, and he was hanging out for it. Because I said, you've done a bit of speedway, haven't you? And he said, oh, just a little bit. 39 years worth of speedway. Yeah. So he was definitely looking forward to seeing a slick track.
Yeah, I bet. And it's great to see a ute out there as well, racing ute.
Oh, that's one of the cool things about the series, is that it's open to all man and machinery pretty much.
And so then that brings us to the D class, which is the top class, and we've got Danny Whiting still sitting up there on a 105 flat, which he'd be very happy with. No, Martin Dippy. There we go, 105 flat. It's taken top honours in the.
As we were talking about it, it changes.
Followed by Danny and Marco's down there, and wow, he's 105.8, which is still not bad, is it? Well, we've got what 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in the 105, and you know, 6. They're all quick, aren't they? The top 7 cars.
The top 7 cars were within 0.69 of a second, so 7 tenths. Wow, that's awesome.
So so that's pretty exciting, and Marco's going to have to brush up a wee bit.
You have to pull finger, isn't he?
I might have to give him a bit of stick. I'm sure he could take it. So the 1 hour
got a spinner. That's Chris Nicholas in the Porsche 997. That's the ex-Paul Kelly car. This is Chris's first full season with us.
That looks like that's the turn 1, 2, and 2.
Yes, it is.
So no excuses, no new track there. That's just
just a little bit hot, I would say.
A little bit hot. The driver can take full responsibility for that one.
Good thing is there's plenty of turnaround area there, no damage done.
Yeah,
give it the flick spin and he's away.
That grass, I think, is still a bit slippery.
What we're going to see coming up behind him though is Marco Schelp. Now, I would say that he's been in, looked at the times,
and he's 8th overall.
And he's 8th, and he'll be coming out for a hot lap.
Yep.
Speaking of hot laps, look who's just gone to the top of the table.
Well, yes.
That is awesome. So Chris Henderson, ladies and gentlemen, in the Toyota 86 V8. He's just popped a 103.9. This is this car's first ever race meeting. Its debut, and currently sitting at the top of the table. Although, as we follow Marco down the back straight, we know how competitive Marco Schelp is. He'll be out looking for a couple of hot laps here too.
Yep. And Martin Dippy's just gone slightly under Chris, so it's all on in the 1 hour. Don't go away, folks.
So Danny Whiting, who we were talking about not that long ago as being at the top of the table, he's now slipped back to sixth.
Right. And here's Marco. I think we're going to follow Marco around. He's taking his time into the hairpin. You can see he just wants to get a bit of clean air in front of him, I'd say. He's got a bit of space behind. You want to make sure he's got a bit of heat in those tyres. Is he wound the wick up? Or is he going to do another warm-up lap? He's got plenty of space. I think he'll be going for it. Yeah, he's come through there pretty quick.
Headlights are blazing.
And he's got the kitchen car. They've got out of the way. Marco coming around Castrol onto the back straight. Let's just follow him round. He'll get past that traffic before John Jones does that easy.
Little bit had to take a little bit of a narrow line in there.
Yeah.
That will just be a little bit compromised, but still.
Through this slightly greasier part of the track.
Yeah, so this is a part that's just been resealed, isn't it?
Oh, you can see a wee bit twitchy there, a little bit of understeer. Or was that just braking going in there, do you think?
No, I think it was a little wiggle.
A little wiggle. Round the hairpin. Let's just watch his time. He's down in 9th overall at the moment, so he won't be happy. He might need to have another go at this. There's a couple of little things there. He was tied into John Jones. He had a bit of a twitch into McKissick, and I'm just talking rubbish because he's just gone up into P2. So he was definitely pushing.
Yeah, we knew that was going to be the case though, didn't he? He's obviously been sitting in pit lane, just biding his time, waiting for the track to clear a little bit.
But Chris Henderson's now dipped under the 103s with a 102.99. So now Chris has got...
that's great, isn't it? Those guys are going tit for tat.
Yep, absolutely.
And now all of a sudden we've got the Derricks have jumped up into second place.
Yeah, and Marco's down to third. Come on, Marco. You've got the German flag to fly here.
This is awesome stuff though, isn't it? Just like, to be fair, qualifying actually doesn't mean a great deal. Whether you start on P1 or P2 isn't gonna have a great deal of bearing on your race.
It's where you finish the races.
100%. Yeah. But
bragging rights.
Bragging rights are what it's all about.
Bragging rights for everything. But also, this is great entertainment. This is
100%.
what we love to see, for the avid motorsport fans. Chris Henderson, now he's got a fair amount of history in the 1 hour, so he's been three times champion.
Probably yes. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That car's obviously incredibly fast, or his old car, was incredibly fast.
Yeah.
He did have quite a bit of bad luck. I remember one year he was leading the championship, and on the very last lap of the last race, it broke an axle and he didn't finish. Things like that just, can really bust your boiler.
Yeah.
I know that his one of his number one fans is currently watching from a little place called Italy. It's
his number one fan from Italy.
Yep, he's got a massive fan over there in Italy.
So, and there will be people watching from all around the world, which is awesome, for us. But also, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can log into the Heart of Racing, do a Google search. We'll put the address up on the screen at some point, and because Heart of Racing have been supporting this whole series and this live stream. To be able to take this racing from little old New Zealand out to the world. So we're thankful for them. But the Heart of Racing is all about not just racing, it's mostly about supporting health in children in hospitals.
Yeah, most definitely. That's a really cool thing to be to be involved with. It's great that team are here, and it's even better that they're supporting a charity such as that. Yeah.
So Marco was obviously listening to the commentary and has now gone P1 with a 102.174. So he's laid it down and said, "How dare we question the Germans?" And we've got 4 minutes to go, so still time. Yeah. And everyone's still out there. So
currently watching Danny Whiting on track. He's got Martin Dippy in the orange car right behind him, and then there's a couple of the Hondas. The dark grey EF is the Andrew Gibson Paul Booth car, which is currently leading their class, and they're currently sitting 13th overall in the standings, comfortably ahead of the 0 to 2 litre Class A.
Yep.
So some more cars of that through that class file down the front straight. How mean does that car of Henderson's look from the front? Hey?
There's a bit of money gone into that, but a lot of love, isn't there?
Most definitely.
Yeah. Yep.
Got the wee spoon on screen now. That's Honda S2000.
It's Vaughan Maloney, is it?
Vaughan Maloney from Timaru.
Yep.
That car competed in the North Island for a number of years. Vaughan's only really just bought that.
Right.
It's first season driving that car, so great to see him out there. Unfortunately, we won't see that team in the 3 hour this weekend. They'd been running the white Honda Integra. They had a bit of an altercation at Ruapuna with one of the Audis when it spun, and they were the 100% innocent party, but it's cost them the chance to race at levels, which is a real shame because it's their home circuit.
Yeah, and little bit of controversy over that, was there?
Yeah, there was, unfortunately, but it's it was deemed as a racing incident. Those Audis you just can't see out the side of them, so it was just one of those shit happens things, unfortunately.
Yeah. But and that's one of the difficulties in this sort of racing. You've got some of those little teams that they've got everything invested, which is still not much, but when they've got everything invested, they don't have much room to move. If something goes wrong, they don't have necessarily the funding and all those other things and the time and whatever to be able to fix the car with just 2 weeks between the rounds. So
Marco's just done another fastest lap. He's obviously in P1, so he's remained there. We've only got 2 minutes left in the session, and he's now actually got a full second over Chris Henderson. But more importantly, he's actually just dipped under the 1 hour lap record here at Timaru. The lap records are 101.892, and Marco has done a 101.886. So it's only just. And obviously remembering that lap records need to be set in the race, not in qualifying, but it gives us an idea of where their pace is at.
Yep.
And considering how slippery the track is, and everybody is complaining about how slippery it is around that top area, that just shows that these guys are going quick.
But you get the feeling that as this session goes on, that maybe the track is gripping up a wee bit.
Oh, it will be. Like it's brand new track. It's got, it hasn't got a little bit of rubber on it. It's got no rubber on it.
Yeah.
So the track will definitely change throughout both the 1 hour race and it's probably more even in the 3 hour race.
Right. Just looking at this Scott O'Donnell car there. Is he just preparing for a flying lap?
He was going slow around McKissick Curve, wasn't he? So perhaps he was just,
He's not going slow now. So if we just can keep our eye on him.
It's
coming through Castrol. He's
Scotty behind the wheel of the car too.
It is Scotty, yep. He's got the wick wound up. Watch him down the back straight. Good chance to get to know the track here. So we're coming up to what's called John Jones.
And if you look at the track ahead of him, Victor, it's as we talked about early on. Most of the cars have been out, done their laps, they've pulled into the pits, and now the track is coming clearer, and as we see, the times are just coming down and down and down.
Yep. So this is a part of the track we call McKissick Curve. And this is the corner that just keeps going, doesn't it?
It does.
And now he's heading up into the Carter's Valuations hairpin.
Looks like a pretty good lap so far.
It does look like this pretty tidy.
I'm going to see him head across the line.
Yep, through Timaru Metal Recyclers Straight.
End of the session. And is he going to go any quicker? No.
Yeah, no, he's jumped up to P5. So 1:03.479 that lap, which is his best lap.
Right.
Okay, we're going to shoot down to the pits, and Adam has got someone to talk to. Adam.
So we're down here with Christina Orr-West. The 3 hour qualifying's about to go out. See, got the other driver in the car. How have things been this morning? Have you had a drive?
Yeah, I did the first qualifying. Unfortunately, we had a front rotor crack, so I lost a bit of my qualifying. We went back out. My tyre seat ended up with a vibration, which is fantastic. So we'll have to sort that out between the qualifying and through the 1 hour race. We'll be sorting that out. So, so B's got the best of all the worlds. So hopefully you go out there and he wants to smash a 58. So we'll see.
So, I mean, obviously it's a long race and it's a long day, and you guys come in second place overall. A bit of pre-match nerves?
Not so much for me. I never get excited in motor racing because I've been bitten so many times and had championships, ripped from my grasp. So I'm just cruising. I'll be smiling at the end of the day if we just finish.
And so the strategy for the day, obviously qualifying's qualifying, but it doesn't mean a lot when you've got 3 hours to run, right?
A little bit. We don't want to get stuck behind ones that have awesome horsepower in a straight line, but can't drive in the corners. They're very frustrating. So we want to stay in front of them at least. But yeah, it's one of those things that I'm going to be starting the car as per usual, and we'll see what goes from there. But I'm hoping to at least stay on their tail.
I mean, you've got a bit of experience here, so you're fairly comfortable on the track here.
Yeah, no, me and Timaru have a love-hate relationship. I tend to hate it and then it loves me, so I'm going to keep that tradition.
Excellent. And so you'll be 2 stops here for the car over the day, or 1? What do you think?
Oh, the $1 million question. I think we're going to have to do 2 stops with a splash and dash somewhere in between there. And I think with the new surface, I think our fronts are going to go, so I think we're going to have to come in for at least tyres at one stage anyway.
And a lot of people have been talking about the new seal on the circuit. So it's coming. The track's coming right now after a day and a bit of running, or
not really. It was really slippery this morning. It might be a bit better now that we've had obviously the 1 hour cars on it as well. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it is for everyone. So we just have to drive around what it is. It's very bumpy for a new seal. It's caught a few out with that, so we've finally got the car tuned to sit the bumps right, so we're fingers crossed that it does well in the race.
And so, I mean, Timaru is a circuit that you have to work pretty hard to get a good lap right, and there's a lot of cars out there, so the differences between speeds is quite difficult. And where do you sort of pull back and go forward to try and get that clean lap?
Yeah, it was really difficult in the old Audi. I think Johnny had to be in it because there was no way Foster would do what he did. But so we can actually go 3 wide, 2 Audis and a slow car. So it's going to be nice for the race to know that. But yeah, it is tricky, but most of them are really good at what they do, and they're looking in their mirrors, because here it is a goat track, and yeah, it can get a bit tight at times, but like I said, to finish first you must finish.
It looks like everyone's getting ready to go out, and Brendan's nodding his head, so we might need to get out of the way because the car's started and ready to roll. So we'll go back to Victor up in the commentary booth, and we'll see those 3-hour cars out running very soon.
Thanks, Adam and Christine. Brendan ready to go out in the Audi as we get ready for the next 3-hour qualifying session. So we run 2 3-hour qualifying sessions because there's 2 drivers, and under motorsport rules each driver needs to run a qualifying session. The South Island Endurance Series rules are slightly different, so but it enables them to not necessarily run the 2 drivers, but most of the teams I think do. So we've got just while these guys are getting ready to go out, Chris, let's look at the results from that 1-hour qualifying.
So Marco Schelp has taken pole position for that 1-hour race, so that's good. He was the race winner at Ruapuna, so he's in a pretty good spot there. And then second was Martin Dippy. So interestingly enough, Martin's going to start from P2, and his arch rival in the series, Ben and Gary Derrick, are going to start from P4 directly behind them. So that'll give them a little bit of an advantage. And between those 2 cars is the beautiful Toyota 86 V8 of Chris Henderson. So he's done really well to put that car in P3 on debut. Yeah. That is an awesome bloody outcome.
So to be fair, P2 is probably a better place on this track, isn't it?
It probably is, especially for a rolling start.
Yeah, because you're on the racing line already, it's clean, and as much as you don't have the apex into turn 1, the next 2, 3, 4 corners are all left-handed. So
yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, while the 3-hour cars are rolling out, but while they're just doing their warm-up and setting a couple of laps, we'll just run through the rest of this 1-hour qualifying just so you know exactly where it's at. So 4th was Ben and Gary Derrick in the Porsche. 5th was the Scott O'Donnell Alan Dippy Mobile 1 Porsche. And then we get back into the rest of the Class C cars. Now, interestingly enough here, Victor, Bruce Davidson has out-qualified Sam Collins, so the Corvette is quicker than the Mustang. Not by much, by 0.02 of a second, but still has out-qualified him. That's really interesting. The rest of the top 10 was Chris Nicholas, Danny Whiting, and then Jordan Mickles in the wee Honda TCR. He's managed to get up into 10th position overall, so that's really, really good for him.
That's amazing when you consider he's actually ahead of some of the Class D cars.
That's right. And, if we'll run through the rest of them while we're here. 11th overall is the BB Nissan GTR. 12th was the Milne and Tim Horn Holden V8 Super Tourer. Now we've seen that have a bit of an altercation, so that 12th place position is probably not a good indication of where they actually should be, considering cars got so much faster towards the end of that session.
Correct.
The next one is the first of our Class A cars. That's the Andrew Gibson Paul Booth Honda Civic. So they've ended up in 13th overall, ahead of Steve Scholes in the Janetta. Then we got Dennis Chapman in the Audi RS3 TCR, the Askew Seat Leon, and then the Tim Dossett is 17th place in the Honda Civic. He's just ahead of Bradley Rule, then Mark Meadows, and they're all in that Class A. Bradley in the wee Honda Civic and Mark Meadows in the Lotus Exige. So that's going to be one of the cool things within this race. There's going to be races within the race.
There's 4 classes, so there's 4 races going on, isn't there?
100%. Then we go back in 20th position is Debbie Chapman, 21st John Buchanan in the Porsche GT4, and then Clark Scott and Jim Bolt in the Integra, and then the other 2 Andrews, they're in 23rd place. So when you look at the difference between Gibson and Booth in 13th and Kitchen and Bartlett in 23rd, now considering that they're both leading the Class A structure, so 10 cars is actually quite a big gap between those. Yep. So yeah, that'll be really interesting.
There's a bit of work to do there.
There is a bit of work for those boys. Then we go back to 24th, Jared Morgan, Braden Phillips, Paul Martin in the Honda S2000, who's just in front of Vaughan Maloney in the other S2000. William Taylor in the Integra, Marcus Barnett in the Integra, and then Craig Elbstop, who takes 30th place in the wee VW Golf. Filing through the rest of the field, 31st Daniel Kropp in the Civic. He's a long way back for where Daniel normally is, so he had problems yesterday, so I'm guessing that they've potentially carried through into qualifying. 32nd Scott Milne in the BMW Mini, 33rd Mark Denton in the BMW E30. Then we've got Art Marcus in the Starlet, Roger Nees in the Ford Falcon V8 Ute, 36th is Mel Waters in the Mazda RX-7 Series 1, and then 37th didn't actually get a lap at all by the looks of that. That's Robert Jaya in the Lotus Exige, who we've seen having that coming together with Milne Horn. So that rounds out the 37 car field for the 1 hour race.
So just with Scott there, I noticed that he only got 7 laps in compared with some cars that got 20 or 21 laps. So there may have been, still a few issues they're working through, don't know. But some of those tail ender cars didn't get as many laps in as some of the faster guys. So interesting. It's going to be a great race. That's coming to us on the live stream at
11:15. That race is scheduled to start. So
11:15.
Yes.
So make sure you got your cup of tea and your crispy biscuits ready. Put the cat out so it doesn't interrupt during the race. We can't have interruptions, and so that's going to be exciting. There's 4 races within that race. Now we've got the 3-hour cars on track. Look at that beautiful Aston Martin. Oh, just having a wee moment there. Heading up into the hairpin. This is the heart of racing, Aston Martin. It's powered by the Mercedes V8. It's
twin turbo V8. It is
twin turbo V8. And this is just a lovely, lovely car. The heart of racing, Aston Martin, is just, it's something special. You go down when they've got the lid off that thing. The engineering and the design is just something else. It's a phenomenal piece of kit. We're so lucky to have it here to be able to see the quality of some of these cars, but especially this car at Timaru. It's something else. If you're in the region, there's sales at the gate, so come on down. There's still plenty of room on the bank. There's quite a few cars down there, so the crowd is building up. It's going to be a beautiful day. You might still need to bring a bit of sunscreen, but the Levels Raceway, for those people that are overseas, we're in Timaru, which is about 2 hours south of Christchurch, where we were 2 weeks ago. It's the southern part of the Canterbury Plains, and we can't see it today, but definitely yesterday coming down, the southern Alps of New Zealand were covered in snow. The pastures were green. It was just a beautiful sight. It's a lovely part of the country. If you're a motorsport driver fan and you're anywhere in the world, pop your car in a container, come down to New Zealand, because there's a ton of racing to be done on beautiful little tracks like this, and you're always more than welcome. Come to the South Island, of course, because the hospitality is just amazing, but you'll get looked after, you'll get welcomed, and come racing with us. So how are we going on the timesheets? Got a couple of cars under the minute already. Brendan's gone under a minute, which they'll be pretty happy with. That's a 2014 that Audi R8. So
that's the
6 years old.
The previous spec Audi R8. So they're doing really well on that. They were just over the minute in the first session, so just under the minute in the second session. Now, I'll remind you how the qualifying sessions work for this. You can set a time in either the first session, which is what, unfortunately, we missed it on the live stream.
Yep.
We started just after that. But you can, your time, whatever the fastest time is in either the first session or the second session, by either the main driver or the co-driver, doesn't matter. It's the fastest time takes pole position.
Right.
Doesn't matter what driver, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what session you did it in. It's just fastest
It's
to the
just
front.
the
Old-fashioned fastest to the front.
Right, okay. So Scotty O'Donnell and Andrew Waite, 58.9.
Yeah, that's
so that's just borrow a car, go racing, and thrash it like you've stolen it.
Totally. That's one of the interesting stories. That car. We spoke to Dennis Chapman, who's the owner of that. The car's run by Track Tech Racing, but owned by Dennis. we talked to him at Ruapuna. He's like, I really want to run this car. I really want to go to Highlands and give these other guys a hurry up. He's got a driver in mind for that car to race at Highlands.
Right.
The driver has just returned from overseas, can't make Timaru because they're in quarantine, so will definitely be here for Highlands.
Me, is it?
Well, we're not in quarantine, so no, it's not. So in the meantime, they contracted Andrew Waite to drive that car. Scott O'Donnell was in the right place at the right time because they needed an amateur level co-driver. Scotty put his hand or his checkbook or whatever it was up, and here we go. So Scotty was had his first laps in that car yesterday. He had a bit of trouble coming to grips with it. It was quite different to the Porsche that he normally drives.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was round at McKissick watching, and to be fair, he was driving like a bit of an ant. I can say that because he's not listening, but he was looking quite tentative, wasn't he?
Well, I can only imagine that they're not the easiest car to jump in and drive.
No.
He's done a lot of miles in Porsches, obviously, but that was his first time in one of the Audis. So he was a little bit nervous. Obviously, you don't want to, nothing to gain on practice days.
No,
so
exactly.
he didn't want to, crash it or anything like that. So,
so for what we see on screen, these Audi R8s, they look like this cool little sports car, but close up, they're actually quite a big car.
They're a
and
very
I was
big car.
talking to Christina yesterday, and they are a wee bit of a handful to get round this tight track because that top end of the track is, technically it can be a wee bit challenging. It's tight, and we've got a new surface, and these Audis have got like a ton of grunt.
Yeah, there's not a lot, there's not a lot of straights at Timaru. It's a very, even the front, what we call the front straight, has got that kink in it where we've seen the Lotus and the Commodore come together earlier on.
Yep.
So really the back straight's the only chance that they get to have a bit of a cool down and, check the gauges and bits and pieces like that. So it is a busy, busy little place.
Yep, right. This car on screen, Johnny Mack and Simon Gilbertson. Now, obviously Simon's feeling better. He had a bit of a bug and pulled out at Ruapuna. So if we watch this car around here, now these guys are just highly competitive. They've just had a string of reliability issues, but they're forever confident and they're forever committed, and we're going to watch this car. Oh, we've got a bit of dust down there. I'm assuming this will be Johnny in the car. Is it though? Is it? Are we looking for a fast lap?
Kind of hard to tell, really.
Yeah.
A lot of dust off the end of the back straight there, isn't there?
Yeah, sure is. So that might have just hesitated a wee bit, but they'll be coming round to look to do a flyer.
So I would say they've just done an initiation lap in that Camaro now, and if we follow that car for this lap, we'll see a hot one. 8 litre V8 under the hood of that bad boy.
So what's the fuel burn?
Probably 10 litres a lap.
Oh, that's annoying. Is that the Aston Martin just getting a wee bit in the way down there?
I don't know if he was too much in the way. That Aston Martin's been driven this weekend by Daniel Gaunt and Aaron Slyke, so that's a really good driver combination as well. They're running in Class D.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think he's taken the pace off this a bit.
I'm not too sure on that, Victor, to be fair.
I was talking nonsense in the 1 hour, wasn't I?
I know.
I could be talking
You're quite good at
again. Yeah, I'm full of it.
Let's see. As the Camaro goes down the front straight. No, he has pulled out. You were right. You weren't talking nonsense at all.
The attitude of the car just looked like it changed after John Jones. I think it just slowed him down or took the edge off it enough that he would.
So they've only just come out of the pits. They were doing an initiation lap basically, and now it's back in the pit. So has it got a drama? Are they making changes?
Yeah, well, that's right.
It just stopped there because it was letting the Audi out of the pit lane in front of it. So let's just see what they're doing here.
Checking tyre pressures.
It's obviously
it looks pretty standard.
That's Simon walking around the car, so it is obviously Johnny. Johnny driving. Bleeding down the tyres just a little bit.
Yep, if they're letting them down, that's preparing for a hot lap.
no work on it. So just went
tyres.
out, got the tyres up to pressure, come in, bled them down a little bit. Now I think
it's time for some action.
We're game on.
Game on, absolutely. Okay, turn up the volume, fans. Oh, if they turn up the volume, they just hear us louder, don't they?
Turn down the volume.
Turn down the volume. Okay. Oh, he'll be a bit frustrated having to hold there.
Couple of licorice straps behind it there as it left pit lane. So now he'll be trying to find a nice bit of clear track.
Yeah, well, that's maybe what he was waiting for. He hasn't got it there, though.
There's a couple of slower cars up in front of him. So
they're a bit spread out, aren't they?
But
look, he's backing off, buying some space.
And that just shows you the intelligence level of a driver such as Johnny Mack. He knows what he wants to do. They want to go out, I want a good, clean, fast lap.
Yep.
Can't do it with all those slow cars around. So I'll
No.
just hang back a little bit, find some clear track, and then have a crack.
He'll be on the brakes, just warming up everything, making sure everything's up to temp. They've worked hard on this car, though, haven't they?
They don't stop working on that
Just
car.
don't stop working on the car.
But that's also the sign, the professionalism of that team, They're never happy.
Yeah.
And that's, that's understandable.
Constantly searching for that next 10th or whatever it is, yeah.
No, so this ain't going to be the lap for him.
No, he's really needs to back off a bit and let those cars get away. It's just so quick, though. He can have the whole back straight and think, I've got space. Put his foot down, and before he knows it, he's into traffic again.
Tell you what, though, we just seen rolling out of pit lane was the Andrew Waite Scott O'Donnell Audi. So
Which
I
is
wonder
still at the top of the ship.
I wonder if
time
they've
sheet.
anticipated what Johnny's doing. They can see what he's doing. Team would have said to Andrew, go and have another crack.
Have another crack. Because we're still a little bit off the pace that we had yesterday. Oh, is that a puff of smoke?
No, I think it was just on the edge of the track. The edge of the
Bit of
track is
dust there.
really, really dirty where they've just resealed this.
Yeah.
I think he just moved over to let the Anthony Lee's Paul Kelly Porsche past and just went a little bit too wide.
Okay.
We're starting to get a little bit annoyed though if you can't find a clear track.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think they might play some, if he knows that the Anthony Waite's gone out, do you think he might...
see, back in the pits again.
Back in the pits. So, it's could be a bit of mind games.
Yeah, I don't know. They're currently sitting in P9, P10 now in this session.
Yeah.
Not that really matters,
No.
because they have obviously set a good enough time to be third in the first session, and now we can actually see out the window that car's going in the garage.
Right. Okay. So there's something he's not happy with, or they're still playing mind games because we've still got about 14 minutes to go. We're just going to see if we can find car 87. See whether they're going to put down another fastest lap, or they might come into the pits as well. Just have another cup of tea and play tit for tat. Do you think? So here we go. A wee bit twitchy through McKissick.
Got balked a little bit there by
Yeah,
that
did.
Integra. That wasn't intentional, but that's just part of the game that we play.
Yep, it's part of racing. It's a bit frustrating in qualifying, but you get used to it in the race. Right, has he wound the wick up?
A couple of those Class A cars heading for the pit lane there. So that's another
Here we
couple of
go.
cars off the track that these guys don't have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Right, he's hot lap time, folks. Through Castrol. Car's looking tidy.
Can't you just see the attitude change in the car though
Oh,
when he puts the foot down that little bit more?
Yep. And look at the track in front of him. Clear track. It's quick through John Jones. Always going just a fraction wide. It's kicking up dust, you can see. This is where it gets slippery. Through McKissick.
They look
No,
so
he's-
slow through there on
No,
TV,
he
but it's
does.
actually so fast in real
I
life.
think he's buttoned off.
Definitely has.
Yep. Okay, we're down in the pits. Are we going to go to Adam? I'm not sure. We're having a look. No, we're not going to Adam.
They probably don't want to talk to Adam when they got their
No, they-
hands in the engine bay like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, that's a bit disappointing to see. Right. Okay, this time.
How many times did we say that for the Camaro and it never happened? But this time for the Audi.
This time for the Audi.
So this is the latest spec of the Audis.
Right.
This was brand spanking new last year, and it's what they call the LMS Evo. So it's a little bit later than the Johnny Reid car.
Right, okay. So it should be quick.
Definitely should be quick. And Andrew Waite, he's no gun. I mean, he's no mug, sorry.
No.
He's definitely a gun.
And you know, Scotty's not a professional driver, but he's driven a few laps.
They've pulled out of it again.
The little Toyota's got in the way. It's coming into the pits.
So this
Okay,
is
who do we want in the pits next?
Man, this has been the weirdest of sessions where those cars, they've definitely lined up for a real crack at it,
Yeah.
and then have all pulled out at the last minute.
Yep. Well, you know, at the moment they don't need to prove anything else because they're on the top of the timesheets.
Yep.
So so it could be a bit of mind games. Now they're in the back of this car again. They had diff issues in Ruapuna.
They did.
And I did question whether I saw a puff of smoke. We thought it was dust because it was most likely dust.
Did we perhaps just hope it was dust?
Well, there is a bit of dust around the end of the track, so I hope it is dust because these guys deserve a break.
Speaking of dust,
right, we're on. Yeah, look at this. Now this
is
he's
Hayden.
actually on the tarmac.
This is
you expect to see this car on the grass, don't you?
This is our WRC star, Hayden Padden. His first crack at endurance racing. He's joined the field here at Timaru with Jordan Mickles as his co-driver, so a good, strong combination, those two.
So here's a guy used to, you know, going sideways, and Jordan, we've talked about, is no slug in the car. For a young fella, he can really pedal. And Hayden was a second faster than him yesterday. So
Yeah.
he's come to terms with it pretty quickly, and he's quite humble as our Hayden, and he's almost a bit shy when you talk to him, and you know, he's like hopeful that he's going to be okay, and do you know what I mean? It's quite amusing, you know, for someone that's competed on the world stage. Right.
So they've just jumped up 4 places, gone from 8th to 4th in 1 lap.
Just like that.
So, yeah, so they're pushing.
Because we didn't really talk about them, whether they were doing a flying lap or anything, so they should be fine.
He's backed out of it this time now.
Yeah,
Because we have talked about him, you see.
Yeah, yep, they know.
Hey, it's absolutely fabulous to have someone, the likes of Hayden Padden here racing
Absolutely.
with us, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, he's had a really bad run of stuff with his rallying lately with, you know, the crash at Rally Finland last year, then Rally Australia that was cancelled because of the fires, Rally New Zealand this year that he was going to do that was cancelled because of blimmin' COVID.
Yep.
So, you know, really good to see him still keeping some miles up, even though it's, you know, in a completely different formula.
Right.
And flying that Hyundai flag here in New Zealand.
But great also is a, you know, for this series, the fact that people of his calibre put their hand up and say, yep, I'll take the opportunity to come racing.
Most
Because
definitely.
it's not like he has nothing to do. I mean, he's had a lot of things that have worked against him. But, you know, the reality is he's still a busy man.
He's very busy at the moment because he's building the world's first electric rally car.
Yeah.
And
they've got one fan, I think. Is it? Are there any fans of electric race
Yeah,
cars?
definitely.
There are. Okay, sorry, I'm winding you up there. Oh, someone's doing a bit of gardening.
That's
Looks
the,
okay. Just
Frew and Barrett Commodore Supertura. There it is, blowing all its dust out down the front straight.
Yeah.
That's one of the ex-International Motorsport cars. I'm not too sure which car it was, but both of those 2 Superturas that are out there running in the 3-hour race this weekend are both ex-IMS cars.
Right, now this will be, I would guess, Johnny Reid. Now he's got the wick turned up.
Now, would you believe that Johnny Reid has also got a massive fan in Italy?
You'd think we'd have some pizza or some pasta being delivered, wouldn't you? Who is this massive fan in Italy?
Well, this massive fan, I think her name's Lucy.
Lucy. Hi,
Yes.
Lucy. Oh, that Lucy.
That Lucy.
Oh, Lucy.
Yeah, Johnny Reid's #1 Italian fan and Chris Henderson's #1 Italian fan, apparently.
Yeah. Is she listening there?
Yeah.
She'll comment on the YouTube or something.
No doubt. She already would have, mate.
She would have. You'd think she would have messaged us on Facebook. Eh?
So let's have a look at Johnny this time. Looks like he's lined himself up for a lap, but we've been wrong every other time, so
Yeah.
who knows?
But these guys have only got 6 minutes to go, so if they haven't put down a lap and they've come into the pits and they're playing some mind games, now is the time to start.
He's got a
thinking
reasonably
about
clear track in front of him. There's a few cars that he might catch. Look at every car along that little back straight there is throwing up that dust.
Yeah. Okay, he's just come through there reasonably okay, but what's going to happen at the hairpin? Oh no.
If he can
it's
get
clean.
out of here cleanly, he
Yep.
should be in for a good one.
Needs that TCR to stay out of the way.
Have to go the long way around him.
Yep, that's not the worst situation in the world. And top of
Go-
the time.
Wow,
57.8.
57.8. Wow.
That is quick. That is quick. So how quick is that?
That is bloody quick, considering he didn't have a clear lap.
No.
He had to go around the
No.
outside of that TCR car on the last, on the last curve there.
Yep.
Man, that is an impressive time.
Yes. So now they just need to. Well, that car, apart from the last round, has been incredibly reliable. hasn't
Oh,
it?
most definitely.
And the last round, I mean, they had a breakage which you couldn't expect. It was something that was.
Yeah, they broke an axle. The team was saying since then that the axle, all of the parts in those cars are lifed. The axles do 5,000 k's and the gearbox does 10,000 k's, whatever it is. That axle was 2,000 kilometres under its life.
Right.
And
So
it
let's
broke.
come back to that, because on the screen we've got Harder Racing Aston Martin. This live stream's been brought to you thanks to Harder Racing. And these guys have won the first and second rounds of the Endurance Series. So let's have a look what Alex or Darren, I'm not sure who's in the car, because they're both actually really quick considering where Darren's come from. I assume this is Alex. They'll be wanting to put down a good time. They haven't broken the 1 minute yet. So let's keep our eyes on the beautiful Harder Racing Aston Martin. Comes across the line. He's got good clear track ahead of him through the 1-2 S's into the Castrol. Onto the back straight. It's a beautiful sounding car. Just stunning. If you're in the Timaru area, you've got to come down and just to see this thing.
Look how much clear track he's got in front of him. This is going to be working to his advantage massively.
Timed it perfectly. I mean, they're using the International Motorsport team as crew, so they're professional guys. But both of these drivers are amazing drivers.
Out of McKissick curve, heading for the Carter's valuation, hairpin.
Wee bit of traffic. That's that TCR again. He's going to
Gonna
have to go around the
catch it at the
outside.
same place.
Oh, no, he's pulled in. Right, looking at the timesheet.
No, not a lot quicker.
No.
That's interesting.
Wow.
He stays out there though. He's on another flyer.
Yep. Yes, because there's a little bit less traffic out there, I'm assuming. Look, I mean, they've just gone past our where we're broadcasting from, and they're way over the other side of the track, and you can still feel this car as it rumbles by. Just an amazing bit of kit. I was sitting up around this part of the track yesterday watching, and he just buttons off totally. It's almost like he just cruises through there without much go pedal, but it's still lightning quick. around the outside of the Honda. I'm looking at the timesheets. Onto the main straight. Lights are on. Nope. 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute flat. Tell you what we have missed though, while we were watching the harder racing car, the Audi that's on screen right now, it's just gone quicker again. 57.4. That is over a second under the current lap record here.
That's amazing. Come on, Scotty. There's no cars on track, so we've got a minute. Oh, sorry, a lie. The hard racing car is still on track. It's all yours. Come on, Alex. Time to wind up the wick.
So the Porsche just in front of it is the Paul Kelly, Anthony Lee's car.
Right, so that's back out there after having a wee turn and had a spin and just kissed the wall in qualifying one.
So that'll hurt them a little bit in the race because causing a red flag means that you start back 3 grid positions.
Right, okay. So Alex has managed to break the 1 minute. Oh, it's Darren in the car. I've just been told it's Darren in the car. So that's okay. He's just broken the 1 minute. I need to check because maybe they had quite a good time in qualifying one and I haven't got that in front of me. So they may be still sitting okay. They'll be comfortable anyway. It's 3 hours is...
Exactly, Victor. We've talked about that before, hasn't it? The only thing that pole position gets you is bragging rights.
Yeah, and these guys aren't interested in bragging about themselves because they're interested in bragging about Heart of Racing and Starship.
Most definitely.
Right. So, which is just amazing because, you know, what they've done so far with Gabe and Heart of Racing. The last I heard, they'd raised $250,000 for Starship Hospital.
Wow, that's awesome.
And they've got a target of $1 million. So anyone watching, listening, you can be part of that by jumping on the website. We'll put that up on the screen shortly. Jump on the website. There's links there where you can click through and contribute. If you feel it in your heart to give, then give to this great cause because you know these guys are really passionate about it, and it's not like they have to do it. You know, I mean, they've come to New Zealand. They were visiting as tourists. They got caught here with the whole COVID thing, and they've said we're not just going to stay here and take from this country. We're going to give back, and it's such
awesome,
a blessing. Right, we're going to go down to the pits because Adam's down there. And who have you got, Adam?
So we're here with provisional pole sitter Johnny Reid. So not a bad morning for you.
A very good morning. Obviously, it's a qualifying 3-hour race. What it means for us, obviously, is one over our competition, but secondly, and probably most important, is track position. For it's very difficult to pass, and you know, being at the front of the pack does give you somewhat of an advantage to start the race at least, and settle into that rhythm and progress forward for hopefully what we can convert into a win today.
And so, times-wise, you're happy with how the cars go?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, that's quicker than what we qualified last year, and arguably the new surface here is probably a bit more slick. So, you know, I think compared to last year, we are performing a bit better mechanically with the car.
And so, going into the race, you made some pretty good predictions overall for the last race at Ruapuni. You said it's going to be hot and fast, and there'll be attrition, and you were bang on. So, what's your predictions for this one?
Oh, I'm no weatherman, but I've certainly been studying it a lot before every race, so I think that answers that question. But yeah, oh look, I think it'll be much the same. The temperature's going to get up a bit more, track temp will go up, but lap times obviously decrease with the aerodynamic cars, and obviously for the turbo and the naturally aspirated engines, they don't get as much power, so it affects all the cars, and obviously the tyre can start to slide around a bit more in the heat. So. We'll be monitoring how hot that gets and making some changes accordingly just to adapt to the conditions.
And are you guys the lap record holders at this track at the moment?
I think the car is, but not me personally. So I think actually Gene Rollinson holds that at a 58.6. So I don't know, it's within range. We just did a 57.4, 8 or something like that in quali. So I'm very happy with that. It's about a couple of tenths quicker than last year, and the track's probably not quite there yet. But it'd be interesting to see how the track evolution evolves over the 3-hour race as well. I'll be most interested in that as a driver and taking that away for next time.
And so for you guys now, obviously with a little bit of the mechanical last time, you come into it not in as high a position as you'd like. What's the focus for the season now?
Oh yeah, look, the championship here, unfortunately, will be handing over the trophy and that to somebody else. I think I'm not sure on exact points there, so I won't comment on that. But we're not in it. We've had the DNF, which is unfortunate. We got the car back out, but just didn't quite clock up a number of laps. So maybe that's something to look at for potential rule change, just to give people incentive to get back out there and repair the car, because the team works so hard, and it's such a shame to have that DNF on the scoreboard at Ruapuna. But again, obviously the pit stops, we as a group, we probably had our worst in history down at Tiratonga. So it's been a tough season so far, but we're building now towards the Cromwell and the New Zealand Championship. Neil's driving outstandingly well this weekend. We're working very hard on where we both can improve, and that's working really well. So I'm proud of Neil. He's done his personal best by some 1.8 seconds this weekend. So it's really neat to see him evolving, and what we're doing is really working.
So would you say the level of competition, I mean obviously you've been involved in it now for a number of years, what would you say the level of competition's like from say 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's a good point. So I first actually got into the 3-hour in a 997 Cup car way back in the early 2000s, and more consistently in the Audis with Neil. So it's definitely evolving. Obviously Andrew Waite gave us a good run in the other Audi last year, and he hasn't really been up and running until today, so it's great to have him back. And then you've got the Quinn Aston Martin, which also was giving us a good run, and that's not here. So I mean the COVID word's probably playing a bit of a part to some of that, I would have thought. But the latest Aston Martin in the heart of racing, it's great to have them here in New Zealand, and just some international pedigree as well, with Alex Ribieras. He's a real talent, and it's great to have him here, and he's pushing me along, and no doubt I'm doing the same.
It'll be great to see a big battle up front for the beginning of the 3-hour race. I've just been told that the lane is about to open for the 1 hour, so on that note I guess we'll go back to Victor, and we'll be straight into the 1 hour after this, and then after that we'll take a break for lunch, and the 3-hour will start at 1:15. So back to you, Victor.
Hey, thanks Adam. Right, so we're getting ready for the 1 hour race, which will be coming at 11:15, so countdown's on. Results from that last 3 hour. No, this is the total 3 hour, so I think this will be our actual grid positions. So P1, the Foster Reid car, the Audi. P2, the lovely Heart of Racing Aston Martin, Ribieras Kelly. P3, Gilbertson McIntyre, the Camaro. P4, Scotty O'Donnell and Andrew Waite. P5, the Leach Orr-West car. P6, Anthony Lees and Paul Kelly. P7 is the Rhodes Rickaby car. P8, the Aston of Gaunt and Slight. P9, Hayden Padden and Jordan Mickles, and P10, the Moore Mackesy car. Okay, we're going to shoot down to Adam again very quickly. Adam, who have you got in the pits?
So last round, you may have, if you've been following us, we gave away $1,000 worth of tyres thanks to Carter's Tyre Service. And lucky enough, the winner of those tyres is, you're from Timaru, right?
Yep.
And so Leonard, that's a famous name here. Yes. Tim Leonard, are you related to Leo?
Yes, my granddad.
Well, that's pretty cool. So if you don't know who Leo Leonard is, you're probably not watching motor racing very much, because he's a real local legend. But anyway, so $1,000 worth of tyres. There we go. We'll just hand that over. What car are you putting them on?
Me and Dad are rebuilding a Mark 1 Cortina, so possibly going on that.
That's pretty cool. We like Mark 1 Cortinas. I got a Ford Escort Mark 1, so a big fan of the old Fords. Congratulations, and do you just happen to be watching and get the answers right?
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Cool. All right, we'll back over to you, Victor Cattermole, and we'll be into the 1 hour race very soon.
Thanks, Adam. $1,000 worth of tyres from Carter's. Thank you so much.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It'd be nice. I've got Paul with me.
Yeah, Victor, great to see you again, my friend.
Nice
and
to
you're not out there again this year yourself, so
No.
you're doing a bit behind the mic, so that's all good. Just getting back, you're just reading out the combined times there for the 3-hour merge there. You'll see these QUALY car and car 6. They, of course, got a 3-place grid penalty for causing the red flag in the session this morning, so they'll start down in 9th. Hayden Padden will jump up to 8th, and the guys underneath there as well. But look at that time for the qualifying, 57.4. We've never seen that. Lap record here for the 3 hours, 58.6.
Yeah.
So we're well under the lap record in qualifying. So perhaps more records being done today. But hats off to the Ribieras QUALY car. Obviously never raced here before at all. And look at that, 58.
It's
so
just quick, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
So you've been commentating at Levels for a while.
This is my 20th year this year, Victor.
That's a while, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're concentrating on that more this year than in the racing side of things. As you know, I do a bit of 2K Cup stuff and a bit of other stuff as well. But no, we'll concentrate more on that this year. And of course, big days like today, they're always good. You've got the big names here.
Yeah.
You know, you've got good machinery. It's
fantastic,
it's unreal, isn't it? So.
And so no surprise to see a good number of cars around.
There is. The bank's just about full of cars out there. In fact, they won't be too far away from telling people to probably move their cars if there's many more show up. So we will have to wait and see. But we're not far away from that race start.
No, cars are starting to head out now.
And
so how fast is this? You've been here for 20 years.
Yes. Yeah, well...
What have you seen that's much quicker than that?
Well, as I was saying to Brendan up the stairs before, the overall lap record here at Levels is a 56.26. So that was done by Greg Murphy back in about 98 or something like that.
So that's the fastest in anything
the fastest
on the
in
track.
anything, yeah. Although I have heard the fastest overall lap was in a supercar, John Hamilton, but that's unconfirmed. But I've heard he's done a 54 or something around here in a supercar.
Yeah.
But that's unconfirmed. But no, 56.26. Murph in the Reynard car many years ago.
Right. Because I think he in that car maybe held the lap record at Teratonga as well.
Maybe, yeah. Anything Murph jumps in, he's pretty quick. But I've just you got to take hats off to Hayden Padden. He hasn't driven this car before, and well, he's done a few laps around Highlands. Not here at Levels. He puts a new set of tyres on, goes out, does one lap, and he does a 103.
Not bad, is it?
It's pretty good. I thought they had an issue, so I went down to have a look, and they said no, he's hit his target time first lap, so we'll leave it at that. So that's going to be an interesting pairing, him with young Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan saying the difference between the two cars too's a little bit as well, so a bit of learning there for Jordan.
Yeah. Jordan was, he was finding a little bit of a struggle yesterday, but you know, for a young fella, it just shows the skill and the talent that he come to grips with it and still performing well, even though he would like things slightly differently. But a real credit to him as a young up and coming driver.
Yeah, he's a nice young bloke. He's well within himself.
Yeah, it's great character about him, isn't he?
And there's a good story behind him and that the Honda drive and how that came together.
Yeah.
With friends and things what happened down there in Invercargill. But we're not far away from that the 1 hour race, Victor. I'm going to have to love you and leave you.
We'll sounds good.
We'll pop down and see you in between times. Brendan might come down and give you a bit of a hand. And
feel free to bring food and
anything like that.
Dancing girls.
I see you've got a couple of bags of grapes.
We've got some grape here.
You're all sorted.
And I've got people messaging me on Faceplant and texting me and carry on. So we're doing okay.
No, that's all good, Victor. Well, you keep talking, my friend, and we'll catch up with you shortly. But it's going to be all on for the 1 hour race.
It's going to be a great race, isn't
Ben
it?
Derrick and Gary Derrick obviously tied for points there at the top with Martin Dippy. So and Dippy starting on the row in front of them. So 1 hour, she's a sprint, as you know, and
exactly.
55 laps is the total lap record, so we'll see if that gets broken here today. It'll all depend on safety cars.
Yep.
Thanks
for coming,
Victor.
Paul.
Catch you later on.
Right, so that was Paul from, he's the commentator normally at Levels here. So he's got lots of experience and knowledge of what's going on. We've got the 1 hour cars now getting ready. They're coming out of the pits and warming up tyres, and they'll be gridding up in their grid positions. Then they will be given a green flag, and they'll head around for an initial lap, and they'll gather up behind the safety car, and then the safety car will turn off its lights as it usually about the hairpin, and will pull away from the P1 car, which is Marco Schelp, and they'll leave Marco up to managing the race pace, and and then we'll be go. As long as the starter is happy, that the cars are all nicely gridded up, then we'll get the green lights and we'll be racing, and it'll be a 1 hour sprint. There's a compulsory pit stop. You can't take your pit stop in the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes. And you must do a run around the car. So the driver must get out and run around the car. Now there is some exemptions to that, and that is some of these cars are not that easy to get out of. They've got cool suits and drinks and communications and wires, so they can opt to stay in the pits for a fixed 60 seconds. So there may be 1 or 2 cars that do that. They have to notify the race control, I think, that's their plan. I don't have that level of information, but we might see that happen during the course of the race, but we'll certainly see plenty of guys jump out of the car and back in, belts being put back on and taking off again. There might be a few cars that need some fuel, so that's always interesting as well. I know some of the smaller cars, they run pretty thirsty and they need a little top up to get to the end. So yeah, so it's looking excitingly, that beautiful 777 car. Bruce Davidson will have some bragging rights over Sam Collins in the what's effectively a NASCAR, and he's got that home built Corvette, and he's just pipped him on the post, so there'll be a bit of discussion around a few beers afterwards on that, I'd imagine. Chris Henderson coming into P3 there. The fan will be going crazy in Italy. Well, crazier than normal in Italy. Lucy. The guys still, actually, the last of them out of the pits. There's a set pit window time where they have to be out by. Yeah, we've still got 3 minutes to go until official race start, so. Thanks to the Harder Racing for their support, which enables us to bring this live stream to you today. There's their website on the screen now, theheartofracing.co.nz. So log in, have a look around, join up, join or follow their what those guys are up to. Get through, support the good cause of the Starship Hospital that they're raising money for, and if you're on any of those social media, make sure you share their website so that other people can become aware of this great cause. It supports not only Starship, it supports motorsport as well. So thanks to Heart of Racing. Okay, so we've got some controversy to start with. Car 60 has missed the pit lane exit time window and will be required to do a drive-through penalty. That's Art Marcus. He's right down the back of the field, car 34. So, so he'll be given a drive-through penalty, which he will have to do, I think, during the race. And there's, as we can see there's a couple of cars also held up in pit lane, so they were too late getting out, and they will have to start from pit lane, which interestingly enough is probably probably better than getting the drive-through penalty, actually, because at least you can tap onto the back of the field and you're racing, whereas the drive-through penalty is going to cost probably 40 seconds, I would say. Right, Marco Schelp warming up the tyres. He comes round McKissick. You can see there's a good number of people at the first part of McKissick. That second part, you don't see any cars because it's just a road through there at the back of the screen there. But there's a good crowd to come and watch endurance racing in Timaru. You can see it's still a little bit overcast, but it's perfect conditions for racing. Cars coming round the hairpin. Chris Henderson. Beautiful little 86 that he's built up. Safety car waiting on Main Straight. Right, they'll pull away now, and Marco will be leading the pack. So good size field. We've got 37 cars. The 1 hour enduro, which is really a sprint. So heading up the back straight, safety cars restricted, I think, to 70 kilometres an hour under motorsport rules. So that will pack the field up. There'll be 2 by 2. You can just see the lights flashing on the safety car. So what will happen is we'll come round John Jones, will come round McKissick, which is really about 2 corners. It sweeps right round, it closes in on itself for a little bit of a right-hand correction and head into the hairpin. And around about that point, the safety car lights will go out, and that's the message to P1 car Marco Schelp that he's now in control. The safety car will pull away. This is the tail end of McKissick. It's the Gibson Booth car. Right. Now we're watching now. And the lights will go out on the safety car. Marco's supposed to control the lights are out. So the safety car will pull into the pits. Marco's got control of the speed of the race. He's supposed to stick at that same pace. Cars need to push from the back, gathering up. So starter's happy. You'll see them hit the gas, and we're away racing. Marco into turn 1. It's going to be tight. A lot of traffic going to turn 1, but he gets his nose in front. In front of Martin. Martin's not going to risk anything at this stage of the race. You can only lose at turn 1. You can't win anything. And then here they head off down the main straight. Marco's pulled away. But here comes the lovely Mustang. He's up to P3. So we go around John Jones. It's a fast corner. Down a gear, tab on the brakes and turn it into the slippery part of the track. And you see a wee bit of nose movement on Marco there and dust in the background. Car's just going slightly too wide. The area's dry. The grass was a bit wet this morning, but it's quite dry underneath. So you see dust picked up everywhere. And Marco's just taken off. Comes across the line. His opening laps are 104.98. So, and we've got a car round at turn 1. That's in a dangerous position. That will be, wow, that was frightening because the pack is so clogged up at that point of time. That was the Derek car. spun it round at turn 1. Maybe the tyres weren't quite hot enough, came in too hot or what, but that was a scary moment. Oh, he's still parked up there as well. So that's in a dangerous spot, that car. Okay, he's moving. No, that's the one. Yeah, that's the Derek car. So he's now at the back of the field. Looks like a bit of damage on the back there. Okay, so it's excitement right from the start. Marco's shown everyone a clean pair of heels though. He's taken off. And that looks like Chris Henderson's found second place. So he's come to play. He's said it might be a new car, but I'm serious about this racing thing. So Marco comes across with the 103.5, Chris with a 104. So not quite as quick, but he's got him in his sights, and a lot of the time's going to be lost or made up in this pit stop. So look at the power of the Mustang down the back straight. So this is about to get interesting. You've got a Porsche followed by two big V8s now. Yeah, see that dust that they just kick in on the apex of that corner of the first part of McKissick. Beautiful Mustang, NASCAR powered. It's a real handful round here, I tell you, this tight part of the track. I think they reportedly or unofficially said 960 horsepower at Ruapuna, but they were having trouble with traction, so they've probably wound it down a bit, because all they'd be doing is chewing up tyres. Right, so Marco Schelp, 103.1, so he's getting into a good race pace. Chris Henderson in P2 there, and then the Collins car, Chris doing a 104 and the Collins car a 103, so expect to see a bit of action for P2 coming up, and Sam will have Marco in his sights, because if he's tracking at a similar sort of pace as our race leader, he'll be going, I've got a fair go at this, and I've come to not get second. So the pressure's on Chris as the Mustang closes in, taking a much wider bite at the hairpin. They're having to slow down a bit more, so the line is to get wide and make more of a V of it, so you can get power coming out. So they're obviously feeling confident they're getting some traction down. Mustang's hard on Chris's tail now, riding the curbs at P2, the P1, P2 S's there. It's an exciting bit of track that you throw it right and then you throw it left, and if you've got it right, it just drifts out and hits the rumble strip on the outside. Oh, look at that! That's the Collins Mustang going up the inside. He'll take that position. Chris won't fight that. He's not going to risk anything this early in the race. He'd be quite happy just to try and hold on to the back of him. They're already starting to come up on lap traffic. So we're 5 minutes into the race. We've done 4 laps. So come on to the main straight. Mustang up the inside of some slower traffic. Marco's tracking well. The little Track Tech Audi TCR we saw on screen there. So car 22. It's Dennis Chapman, not far. You can tell it's Dennis because he's got the big cross on the right side where it's, some of the aero got changed around by hitting the wall. And then Debbie, his wife's done the same thing yesterday. So they've been fierce competitors for many years, the Chapmans. Put a lot of time and money into motorsport. So the word is the black flag has been withdrawn from, who was that from? I've got Chris Dunn in my in my screen sending me little messages from, he's up in the timing booth, so thanks Chris. Right, we're settling into the race a bit more now. We've got 7 laps gone, 7 minutes gone, 6 laps, so cars are settling down. Speeds of the top cars just easing off a fraction as they just get into a rhythm. So Marco, and also a bit of traffic. So but Marco will be fairly comfortable. He's got nearly 5 seconds lead over the Sam Collins Mustang. You can see him, he's got a fair amount of that front straight. It can actually work for you or against you. So, but Marco's been around a bit, so he's more than happy with having to pass a bit of traffic. Interestingly, last lap Marco a 1:0 and Chris Henderson a 1:03.6, so also a little bit quicker than Marco. So it's all to play for here. We've got a car in the pits. The horn car is in the pits, scheduled stop, so they've probably got a bit of an issue. Still got a reasonable amount of pace on it, and then you hit the Terps to take on the back straight at Timaru here. And then you've got this new surface which looks like it's rubbering up a wee bit. The times have got a bit more consistent, and the attitude of the cars has become a bit tidier. As we were watching yesterday and a little bit in qualifying, there's a few cars that look pretty unsteady through there. So Chris is just keeping the Mustang in his sights. He was about a second slower. That's probably traffic, I'd say, because the car's capable of better than that. He did a 1:05, so he's a couple of seconds off what he can do in that car. So you won't want to lose too much sight of the Mustang, because he knows it's quick, and he knows it's quicker than or potentially quicker than Marco. So if he can keep him in his sights for most of the race is won and lost in the last 10 minutes here. So that'll be the strategy. The car looks like it's just going very well. He's put a lot of time and effort into it. Amazing, amazing, amazing car. Right, we're 10 minutes in, so the pit window is open. Now, most of the strategy will be to wait for a safety car. Oh, Chris is slowing. Oh dear, hopefully not the commentator's curse. Yeah, he's slowing round. He's got a problem. He's just drifted over the start-finish line. Yeah, he's got an issue with that car. Can't see any problem. Oh, now it looks like it's going again. It's gone into limp mode or something, had it? Let's keep our eye on it. Looks like it's going again now. So is it an electrical gremlin? Maybe something overheated, or I don't know what. He might have dropped his sandwich. But it seems to be going again now. They're laughing at me in the commentary booth. He might have had Jaffas or something. They're rolling around on the floor. Right, that's a bit frustrating, because that was he's lost a bit of time there. He'll be frustrated, but to be fair, first time out in the car, he should be delighted that he's up at P3. So, oh no, he's dropped down to P5 and back. So yeah, he will be frustrated, but you know, this is a good test for the car. Right, let's have a look at, we're 12 minutes in, what's happening down the rest of the field. Let's look at the classes. So Marco Schelp is leading Class D in the race from Martin Dippy and Scotty O'Donnell and Alan Dippy. Then Danny Whiting in 4th, and the Horn car in 5th in Class D. Class C is Sam Collins leading that class, no surprise there, from Chris Henderson, and then Bruce Davidson in the Corvette. So the Corvette qualifying time was something. He must have had next to no fuel in it, because he's a couple of seconds off. Well, he's actually 3 seconds off the pace of the Mustang now. And then Roger Nees, who will be pretty happy, is I think rookie contender there. Class B, Jordan Mickles, again no surprise there. Class A, 3 seconds ahead of Dennis Chapman, Debbie Chapman, Craig Elstob, Scott Milne, Mal Waters. And then Class A, you know, hugely competitive class. We've got 12 cars in Class A, which is the under 2 litre. Mark Meadows, Daniel Kropp, Gibson Booth car, followed by Tim Dossett. That's a bit of mates rivalry there. The Scott Bolt car, and then Kitching Bartlett in 6th. Bradley Rule, Jared Morgan, Paul Martin, William Taylor, Vaughan Maloney, and Mark Denton in the little E30 BMW. So Marco's leading by about 7.5 seconds by the look of things. So he'll be pretty comfortable with that. But it is early days. It is early days. So I've got the difference now about 10 seconds. So the race is starting to settle down, and no one's taken their pit stops yet from what we can see. That window the window's open, but the opportunity to pit could happen any time. There's our race leader, Marco Schelp. He'll just be taking it quietly now, just staying in the rhythm, working his way through traffic. He'll have comms saying, hey look, we've got a good lead, just hold that lead. Right, first car in the pits that we've seen. He's done the run around. What car is that? My eyesight's so bad. Car 23. Is that Jordan? Yep, that's Jordan Nichols. He's got a big day ahead, this young fella. Not only racing here in the 1 hour, he's going to be doing the 3 hour as well with Hayden Padden. It's quite a bit of work. Watch him coming through. John Jones. Car looks great. Very stable. Up into McKissick. Just touching the apex there, getting a fair amount of noise on through that right hander, and then braking heavily into the hairpin. It's got a bit of traffic to compete with. Go around the outside, coming on to the main straight. We've got Scott O'Donnell and Alan Dippy in the Porsche there, the 911. They're up into 4th place. We'll be pretty happy with that. Best lap of 1:04, so they're a bit off the pace, but they'll be happy to be there in 4th. Just a bit of bad luck with Chris Henderson. Be interesting to see what's going on with that car later in after the race. Just looked to go into limp mode, and it's cost them 2 or 3 spots. So you see all these cars being passed, but there's races going on within the race here because of the classes. So a lot of these guys are having to learn to keep their eye on their mirrors. Watching Scotty O'Donnell. Scotty's going to be doing a bit of racing today as well. He's also in the 3 hour, so he has a lot more years on him than Jordan Nichols, so it goes to show you, the old fella. He's probably got a boomer sticker on his car. It's just to warn other drivers that he's from the baby boomer era. They were kindly donated or dished out by the Seriously Fun guys, just as a bit of a reminder that some of these guys are not as young as they used to be. Here's Chris. He must be. Yes, so he's that's there for position. So you've got Chris has got Scotty in his sights. Be wanting that Porsche to get out of the way. So that's P4 on your screen, and P5 is Chris Henderson, who's being held up behind that Porsche. I managed to get him now, but as he does, another bit of lap traffic gets in between him and Scotty. The little, oh, we've got a car that looked to be well off the track there. There was a lot of dust. These guys have got through clean. I hope that's okay. We're not seeing that on our screen. We might see it as we cut back here. Okay, no, nothing in the fence, so that's good. Track Tech Audi. Chris will be wanting that Lotus to get out of the way. He doesn't want to be out that wide there. There's too many marbles. He'll get himself into trouble. We'll try and get up the inside. Yeah, and Scotty's managed to get another car between him and Chris. So Chris will be getting frustrated. I think that's Debbie Chapman. He's up the inside. He should have plenty of power. Oh no, that's Dennis. Don't close down on him, Dennis. Now he's away. Right. Now Chris has got... Right, now. Come on, Chris. Time to wind the wick up a bit. Yeah, he'll be really frustrated. Last lap of 107.7. It's slow, and as it happens, Marco's just having a lovely time, but not such a great time versus the Mustang, because he's still only 10 seconds ahead. So Sam Collins is maintaining that position in P2. And that's only 10 seconds can be won or lost easily in the pit stop with the runaround. So as you watch the 777 Collins Mustang, okay, we've got car 85 in the pits for their pit stop. They'll be checking tyres. Yep, they're checking tyres. The little mini Scott Milne. So I've got Brendan has joined me in the commentary booth. Brendan's one of the other commentators from Levels. Welcome, Brendan.
G'day, Victor. How's it going today?
Yeah, going okay. We're racing, so any day that we're racing is a great day.
I must say, you've got a better view of the racing than we have upstairs.
Yeah, well, we get to see all the track down here, which I know I've done a couple of stints in your commentary box. Thank you very much. And one of the wee frustrations here is we commentary lose part of the top part of the track, but here we get to see it all.
We certainly do. So when I came down, Marco Schelp, as you know, was leading the race. He just completed 18 laps.
Yep.
And he had a 10-second gap over the second car, which was the 777 Mustang.
Yeah, yep. So Sam Collins But you know they're a bit tit for tat on race pace. In fact, the last lap, Sam's gone half a second faster, so that time's coming down and then going back up and coming down because there's a fair amount of traffic out there still.
That's right, and we're also keeping an eye on the Dippies versus the Derricks. Derricks obviously had an incident in the first couple of laps, and they're trying to carve their way back through the field.
Yeah, well, and obviously Chris had an issue, and Lucy rang in from Italy and said, "You're not going fast enough," but he's sorted it out now, and back up into third place.
Very cool to see Chris Henderson back out on the track in his V8 engine GT86.
Yeah, he's a massive amount of work over the last year to get that car.
So it's a pity we can't go into our Toyota dealer and buy one of those. I'd just about sign up for one of those, Victor. I think so.
You can see yourself in that?
Oh, I think we'll throw that Subaru motor away that sits in it and put in one of those General Motors V8s.
Oh boy, I've got a motor for you in my garage actually. I've got a A45 little 2-litre turbo that'll suit you.
You think it would fit
you
in my
don't
car?
have that V8 carry on.
Before the greenies ban them.
Before the greenies ban them. Did you vote today?
I have to go and vote on the way home. The voting booths close at 7 o'clock tonight for those that haven't voted.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Well, let's not go there because that's, don't even start.
We're politically neutral unless you're a greenie.
We got the Booth and Gibson car in the pits. This will be a driver change because we've got two drivers. So I'd imagine that's Andrew getting out.
Yes, Andrew
he
did
still
start.
has to do the run around and tag the next driver in, which will be Paul Booth. And Paul's got a fair amount of experience. He's done a huge amount of karting, not only here but overseas.
Very handy in a 2K Cup car.
He's quite handy in a 2K Cup car. He makes a slow car go fast. So this is going to be interesting to watch. Okay, we've got one of the TCRs off the track. 144. Who is that? That's Craig Estlop. Okay, right, Paul Booth's out.
Good stop for car 91, back out on the track.
Yeah, that was a good stop.
We're also commenting Jordan Nichols did stop early. He's driving on his own, but it means that he can get out there and be circulating, putting in hot laps while other cars are doing their pit stops.
Yeah, well that's the thing, is that the risk in the 1 hour is, do you wait for a safety car, or do you what do you do? Because once you're in some traffic, if you're getting frustrated, sometimes it's better just to take your pit stop, clear away from that traffic and get into a different pattern where you can get some rhythm going again and not so frustrated. So it's always hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, Jordan's put a stake in the sand, backed himself, and we're going hard and going early, just like Jacinda, really.
Oh, your time in the commentary booth is going to be short if you. The only female we're allowed to talk about is Lucy from Italy.
Lucy from Italy.
Lucy for Prime Minister. Oh, imagine it. Have you met her?
Not personally, no.
Anyway, let's not go there either. That's probably a really bad idea. Right. Okay. Marco's in the pits. According to... Oh! That's been a big spin.
Was a
Sam,
big spin.
Where is that?
Was our race leader. Top part of the circuit.
Top part of the circuit. We thought it was gripping up. That's down at Castrol. It's halfway along the straight. What's happened there? Are we going to get to see that again? Here we go. We've got a replay. So he's come out of Castrol. Yeah, he's lost it coming out of Castrol. Is that where you see it?
It is. Didn't seem to be any other cars in the picture there, Victor. Maybe he just got on the trigger a bit hard.
Yeah, well, 960 ponies.
Which is that V8 thing again, Victor.
Yeah. I got 960 ponies under the bonnet of my car, but they're all Clydesdales. Yeah, they're just slow.
I don't think if I put all my vehicles together, I'd have 960 ponies.
I've got 9 ponies, or 96 ponies. I knew it was something like that. What's a zero amongst friends?
The best I can do is 326.
Oh dear. Well, there's a lot of dust being kicked up off out of John Jones, isn't there? So the track's new, guys are used to a bit more grip through there, and there's been quite a bit of dirt. Have you been down and had a look?
Haven't been out and had a look, but there was talk in the drivers' briefing this morning how the newly sealed part of the circuit would affect the drive times and Artesian. But when we were looking at the qualifying this morning for the 1 hour field and the 3 hour field, it didn't appear to have an effect on what was going on. The times were very fast.
Right, yeah. And yesterday they were fast too. They were saying, oh, there's no grip up the top, and then they're doing 58s, and you're kind of going, well, thank goodness there's no grip up the top, because otherwise they're going to...
Very fast times in a tin top car. Paul and I were talking earlier, the lap record here is only about a 56.6.
Yeah.
So they were doing 57s in qualifying.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's seriously quick. Seriously quick. Okay, my timing board is still showing Marco in the pits, but we're actually watching him out on track, aren't we?
And the lap number is going up, which is also a good sign that he is circulating, and we can see him there on the screen in front of us.
Yeah, okay. So, and looks like Sam is blowing that 10-second cushion out to 26 seconds, but
so that spin was very costly.
Yeah, that's cost him a lot. We've got that little Janetta into the pits.
Oh, they're a smart-looking wee race car, aren't they?
Great little car. This is now I understand the owner of this actually has a few Janettas. He's a bit of a Janetta. It's an illness apparently.
Like motor racing is an illness, Victor. We all just have different strains of it.
Different strains of it. Now this is his run around the car.
Seems a bit casual actually, doesn't it?
It's got a gin and tonic, and I don't think it is a gin and tonic. And then back in again. Oh gosh, I was talking to...
Maybe I shouldn't have had that pie last night, Victor.
Yeah, I was talking to Jordan Nichols last night actually about some of the racing he's doing in the sort of wings and slick stuff, and he showed some videos and you could see the head movement. I said, it must be really hard on your neck, and he said, yeah, it is. And I said, it's hard on my neck when I get in my car, because it was just like that. You have to fold yourself over and bend your head down. That's hard on your neck, just getting in.
That's because they're trying to make them safe for you, Victor.
That's
if you
right.
have unfortunate incidents, you're very thankful for those roll cages.
And I've had one of those here. You might have been commentating at the time. That was Steve Scholes in the Janetta. We've got the builder's ute in the pits.
Well, we're wondering whether he does his own servicing and has wheels and fuel on the back, or whether he listens to AC/DC with his arm out the window as he goes around.
Probably does. If you open it up, he's probably got all the tools in there. Fold-up ladder.
Of course, the ute racing was very popular in New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't buy a new V8 Falcon or Holden ute anymore.
No, those days are gone.
Might be Rangers and SR5 Toyotas maybe in the future.
Well, the Merc have got a ute out now, haven't they?
Have they?
Yeah, that'd be alright for racing.
Oh, so does Volkswagen. We could probably put something together.
Put something together.
Oh, there's that smart-looking GT86 of Chris Henderson.
Right, so he's 48 seconds off the lead. Okay, there's a car in the wall. That's going to bring out a safety car.
Yeah, can we just go a bit higher, please, Cameron, just so we can see over the wall?
That's at John Jones. That's after John Jones. So that's in a dangerous spot. Oh, he's got it moving.
Is that the Honda Integra that was going slowly earlier?
Yeah,
perhaps?
Looks like it.
It is.
Okay, so they may have saved, because a safety car would have changed everything.
Well, we are over halfway through, and
so
we've got 29 laps on the leader so far, Marco Schelp. The race record is 55 laps for the 1 hour race.
Yeah, so we don't really want any safety cars, because it'd be good to break that record. But Marco's doing 103s. I think they'd need to be going a wee bit quicker. Right, here's a bit more of a committed run around.
Yep, good run, good tag.
Good tag.
Oh, squeeze the new driver in.
Car 64, that's the Jim Bolt. Is it Jim Bolt in the car? It looks like it. Carter Tyre Service banner on there. Carter Tyre Service, sponsors of the whole South Island Endurance Series. We're thankful to Carter's for their support of this series over a few years now.
A few years, and also I've been watching their ads on the tally I have, Victor.
Oh, good boy. And so you know where to go when you want tyres?
I do know where to go when I want tyres.
So the thing being, I was talking to Gary Carter a couple of weeks back, and they provide a lot of tyres to industry, so a lot of their business is supplying to, likes of Frontiera and the
Ritchie's buses, big South Canterbury business.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it made me realise that when industries rely on a supplier like Carter's for tyres, it's not just about price, it's about good service, quality product, they're reliable, they're not going to get sold something that's cheap, they get sold the right tyre.
And when you've got a fleet and you've got a 24/7 business, you need it done right and need it done now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Carter's obviously doing that very successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. And business people now, with health and safety and all that, you can't afford to cut any corners. So you can't afford to have an incident where the tyre's to blame because you become responsible. And so it made me think that that's what you want for your own car as well, because you got your family in the car. You want them safe. And tyres are the adhesion to the road, so they're a critical factor in the safety of your car. So Carter's clearly the place to go.
They certainly are. Do you know who's the biggest manufacturer of tyres in the world?
No, tell me.
What company has more tyres with their branding on the side than any other supplier in the world?
I'm hoping you know because you've asked the question.
I do know, and you're not going to believe who it is.
It's not Ling Long, is it?
It's Lego.
Who?
Lego make more tyres than any other tyre manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
Obviously they're not very big and they wouldn't fit on these things and probably wouldn't do an hour or 3 hours, but Lego is the biggest tyre manufacturer in the world. True story.
Really? There we go.
Anyway, how are we going now? So Marco Schelp, 32 laps. Still circulating.
Still circulating.
Just over 25 minutes left to go in this race.
Chris Henderson working his way through traffic. My timing board is frustrating me.
Well, it does say that Marco's still in the pits, and I must say he's circulating remarkably well. Being still
now
in
it's
the
asking
pits.
if I want it in French or English. I think we'll go English, shall we?
English, please.
Oh, you know why? Because Marco's name's there, so it's confusing Google.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not John Smith, is it? Oh no, it's not John Smith.
Still thinks he's in the pits. Thank goodness. To give it the little rev. No. Oh, there we go. Right, now my timing's right. So...
Okay, we've got the Jordan Mickles car back in again. They've already had a stop.
That's interesting. So has he got a problem there? He's not getting out. They're having a look at something on the front right. Let's just check where he is in the classes though, because... Okay, that's dropped him down to third in class because he's had to pit twice. He's clearly quicker than Dennis Chapman and Debbie Chapman. So he's going to have a wee bit of work to do. Dennis has now done 31 laps and Debbie and Jordan 30 laps. So
have the Chapmans been into the pits yet though, Vic? That's probably the question we need to ask. Have they done their pit stop?
And maybe is the answer to that. I'll tell you in 24 minutes, because that's roughly how much time we've got to go.
Roughly how much time? Good that they started the race pretty much on time, even though we've had a couple of incidents this morning in qualifying.
Yep. I'm happy though that we haven't seen much drama at the top of the field, because with the way the talk was about it being so slippery up there, there was a chance that it was going to be a tough old day. To the marshals and whatever, and so it's good that we're seeing such clean racing.
Yeah, the only big moment we've had so far was of course the Collins car coming together with the 148 Porsche earlier on.
Yeah, and having said that, earlier in this race there was potential for some real catastrophe with that spin at turn 1.
Considering we've got such a big field on such a small circuit, touching wood.
Yep.
Doing all right so far.
Absolutely.
Particularly when you look at the speed differential between some of the cars at the front of the field compared to those smaller capacity vehicles nearer the back.
Sure. So there's Marco Schelp as our race leader. He's got the lights flashing.
Coming up behind the Bolt Integra.
Coming, yep, down the inside, no problem there. So he hasn't had the fastest lap by any means, but he's been consistent, and that's half the battle here. These longer races, you don't have to be the quickest, you need to be the most consistent.
Certainly for 1 hour of racing, and we'll see that again this afternoon.
So his last lap at 103. Collins' last lap was a 103.8, whereas Marco's was a 103.4, so he's just a little bit quicker. He's holding the gap, 41 seconds.
So it just goes through on the draft line Civic into the hairpin.
Comfortable. Now, I'm not sure that Marco or the Collins car have pitted, so we've got 21 minutes to go, of which 11 of those are pit window. So there's a bit of, let's see who goes first here, I'd imagine. Marco would have had two race strategies heading out there. One was safety car dependent, the other one was obviously no safety car. Got the Scott O'Donnell and Alan Dippy car in the pits there doing their pit stop and driver change. We've left that quite late, so the last driver's doing 19 minutes. Do you know the rules on... I don't think there's any rule on how much a driver has to do on the 1 hour.
Not like Bathurst where the co-driver has to do a minimum of third distance.
There's Scotty sitting down. He's
although it is a third distance, if I can do maths, we've had 40 minutes nearly gone, 20 minutes to go.
Yep, so 36 laps. What did we say the race record was for the 1 hour?
55 laps, we've had it twice.
Right.
Oh well, good to catch up, Victor. I might pop down and see you again in the 3 hour. Go back and keep Paul. Might send Paul down for a chat.
Yeah. Well, we're just about finished here, so during the 3 hour would be great.
Cool. Have a good
to
day,
get some
team.
Local knowledge. Is it knowledge?
It's only knowledge if you can compare it to my wisdom, which is both pretty low.
Okay, it's good to have some locals helping out with the commentary. Right. So we're back on track. There's Marco Schelp. He's fairly comfortably out there. I don't think he's done his pit stop yet. Just through that. Ooh. Little Lotus not really getting out of the way. It shouldn't get out of the way. It needs to hold its line, but this car's line seems to be the middle of the track. It is better if it holds a racing line. Right, we've got the Collins Mustang into the pits. Didn't think they'd pitted. That puts Chris Henderson up into second place. The whole of Italy is going crazy. And we've got the Davidson, Bruce Davidson's in the pits as well. Vaughan Maloney there in the S2000. Was that Vaughan Maloney in the S2000? I stand to be corrected. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that Collins car. Drop down to fourth now. Martin Dippy's up into third. No, that wasn't the Vaughan Maloney S2000. Right, we've got the Mustang back out on track. Where's that going to position him? Because Danny Whiting won't be that far away. Now we'll need to just settle down a bit, make sure he gets those tyres up to temperature. Right, we've got the Ute round. Now if that stays there, that's definitely going to be a safety car because that's turn 1 and 2 S's, and that's in a really dangerous spot. He's not looking like he's going anywhere now. That's going to play into the hands of Marco and Chris if they haven't pitted. They'll be loving to see that. We're just watching. There'll be yellow flags there. Oh, which means no passing. He's got it going, thank goodness. So So he's got it going. He just pulled over for a sandwich and a Coke. Or maybe his mum had rung and needed a loaf of bread and a bottle of milk to take home. Because she doesn't know that he's out racing. So now into the pits. 148 Porsche. It's the Derek car. Okay, that still looks like we have who's that in the pits with the we've got the race leader there in the pits. Is that Jordan Nichols still in the pits with the bonnet up? Yeah, Marco's well ahead. He's comfortable lead. Chris Henderson there in second. He'll be very happy with that. Marco, a bit of Chapman traffic to get past. Come on, Dennis. Right, let's have a look at, we've got 16 minutes to go. So Marco Schelp in first, Chris Henderson second place, Martin Dippy third, Danny Whiting fourth, Sam Collins fifth, Chris Nicholas in sixth, the Derek car in seventh, Scotty O'Donnell and Alan Dippy in 8, Dennis Chapman 9 and Bruce Davidson in 10. They're the top 10. Let's try and keep an eye on 5 things at once here. How are we going class-wise? Okay, Class D, Marco Schelp, Alan Dippy, Danny Whiting. They're your top 3 in Class D. Class C, Chris Henderson, Sam Collins, and then Bruce Davidson. Chris will be delighted with that. Class B, Dennis Chapman, Debbie Chapman, Jordan Nichols. So yeah, Jordan's dropped down 4 laps, so he's obviously had a problem with that car. And Class A, a fiercely competitive class. Mark Meadows, Daniel Kropp, Andrew Kitching and Andrew Bartlett, then Andrew Gibson and Paul Booth. So it's all on for third place there. Paul Booth will be chasing like heck to try and get that car on the podium. Because if I look at the points, where are we? Class A points. Yeah, so interestingly, another car round, and that is through the hairpin. That car's had a bit of time off track this race actually. So just looking at Class A very quickly. So the points going into this race are tied with the Gibson Booth car and the Kitching Bartlett car, and on the track Kitching and Bartlett are ahead of the Gibson Booth car, so that's certainly one to watch. Who's going to come out class leader? They're great mates off the track, and so they are. There's going to be a lot of bragging rights for that. Okay, Dennis Chapman in the pits. Doesn't look to be going anywhere. Okay, Marco in. Right, how does this mix things up? Because Chris Henderson was well down on him. Chris is in the pits. Right, so Chris taking a wide line around the back of the car there. Might have cost him a couple of tenths. Obviously he's been working so hard on the building the race car, he's forgot to work on the running around the car. Marco's out, so that's a great stop by Marco. Comes around, where's Chris? They're still belting him up. Okay, Chris is out. Oh, in front of him. Has he taken the lead position? This could be a national holiday in Italy. No, I've been told he's a lap down, but that's okay. Oh, now race is on. It's the Gibson Booth car going through there. It's causing a headache for a Porsche. There you go. That's what you see in New Zealand. You see a under 2 litre Honda Civic giving a Porsche a hard time. There goes Hendo. And there's Marco. So yeah, Marco's he's had to let Marco take that position because technically a lap down. So he would have been getting blue flags. So, but that's okay. He's still in good shape. He's sitting in third because the Collins car is in second. Now I'm not sure how far off from the Collins car Chris is because it's all been mixed up with those pit stops. Just let this tidy up. We've got 11.5 minutes to go, so most of the cars should have completed their pit stops by now. Otherwise they run the risk of a DNF. If you don't do your pit stop by the 10 minutes to go, you don't score anything. Okay, Chris will be very happy with the car this today because it's gone incredibly well. So he'll be satisfied with the performance. He should be really happy with the performance. Plus, also the car's lasted well. So that's fantastic. It's Mark Meadows in the pits. Right now, what does that do to the A class? Let's have a look. We'll just have to wait for him to come out. Okay. Looks like the kitchen car have pitted, and that's all. We've got a car off at John Jones. Who's that? It's a blue Porsche. He's got that going again. He managed to keep it off the wall. It wouldn't have helped anyone because we were under the 10 minutes to go, so it wouldn't have caused any issues apart from closing the gap up. Would have frustrated Chris Henderson because he's already behind Marco, and it would have brought the Mustang up behind him, so thank goodness that didn't cause any issues. There's Dennis still rotating. So he's been into the pits twice, I think. Not looking quick. This is when it gets exciting, that last 10 minutes to go, and there's a driver, you're listening and you're hearing things in the car you didn't think were there before, and vibrations because you're starting to pick up a bit of rubbish on tyres. And here's Marco, our race leader, driven superb race again, very class act, just textbook stuff. Okay, so the cars to watch are the 991 and the 148. So 991's Martin Dippy, and the 148 car is the Derek car, and they are even on points in the 1 hour. So at the moment, Martin Dippy is ahead of the Derek car by, I don't have the gap, but not by much. And if they maintain those positions, they will take out the 1 hour. Now we must have yellow flags there, is it? got cars slowing. It's a yellow flag situation, so they're not allowed to pass that car as he's pulling into the pits, and he had a problem. He should have probably pulled off the track and let these guys pass. But anyway, they're away again now. That caused a bit of a moment. 7 minutes to go. 7 minutes to go. Hopefully Race Director can find us cars 991 and 148. Be good to see what's happening in the overall 1 hour. Again, another car off. So this is the tough part of the race when 1 hour doesn't seem like long, but there we go. We got the 911. Not really interested in Scotty. It'd be good to see 991. How are we going, guys? Collins Mustang sitting in second in this race. Look at the pace he has over some of those back markers. It's 6 minutes to go. Live stream brought to you thanks to the Heart of Racing, who are supported by sponsoring the live stream. Another 2 cars off at turn 1, turn 2. Looks like they had a coming together of some sort. Don't know if we'll get it. Well, we've got a replay here. What can we see? Here they come. It's a race leader through. And do we catch just the end of it? Oh, that was a big touch. I think they'll be okay. Oh no, he spun round. It's gonna. That car's not going anywhere, I don't think. Right, we've got yellow flags, full course yellow. There's smoke coming out of the back of the Porsche coming down the back straight. Safety car is out. Now what that means is that what was a 1 hour endurance race, which we called a 1 hour sprint, is about to be probably a 3 minute sprint. Because by the time they get this car out of the way, the safety car will be out, and I think we'll get 2 or 3, hopefully 3 laps under racing. They just need to drag that into the infield. So now the question will be where the safety car picks up Marco and where that positions Sam Collins and Chris Henderson for this race. More importantly, where does it position Martin Dippy and the Derricks, because they are racing for the South Island Endurance 1 hour title. You can see the damage on the side of that car. That's taken quite a knock in that front. Looks like the front left-hand wheel is not so much damage on the Porsche, but it's just tyre rubbing. Okay, come on guys. Right, they're going to try and put tyres on the Porsche and get it back out again. Rip a bit of guard off or something. There's your race leader. So the safety car will be looking, the safety car's got him. Now where does that leave the 991 and 148 cars? Let's see how close they are, because they're the ones to watch. They've got it all to play for. It's amazing how little damage there looks to be on that Porsche, but the side of the Holden was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? Right, we're looking for 991 and 148. There's Chris. There's a little Carter's car, Tim Dossett. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, we've got 2 minutes 45 still on the clock. 51 laps. We're not going to hit the lap record. This just closes everyone up. Can't see how far they've got that car away. Still under yellows. We're going to be clear for race start this time. We'll know when the safety car gets to the hairpin. If he's happy, the lights will go off. If we keep an eye on it through the hairpin. Looks like the lights are off. I think we're going to be racing. Yeah, he's pulling away. Leaves it all up to Marco. Yep, the safety car's in the pits. We're going to be racing. We might get in 2 laps. It's going to be a sprint. Yeah, we're away again. Marco's gone. Here's Chris Henderson coming up the inside. He's a lap down, but it'd be good for a photo finish. There's the Collins Mustang. He's got a ton of cars between him and Chris. So Chris has got too much work to do to be able to catch him. And Marco's just shown what class act he is. He's just pulled away. Porsche, beautiful Porsche. Obviously, car's great. Marco's driving well. He'll be unbearable to talk to later on. He'll just be, race winners on the day of the race. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get him up here and have a bit of a chat to him. Hopefully he doesn't drop too many F-bombs like the other week. Had to make up a story about his language. It's okay. Right, are we checkered flag or are we last lap? The board shows 23 seconds. I think they'll get another lap in here. Yeah, it's got to be last lap. Yep, last lap board. Yep, there we go. So, right across the line come Martin Dippy, Derek. Yeah, it's about 6 seconds from what I can see. Oh, Bruce has had a moment. Gone to dig up some spuds. It's a fair amount of time in the race car, so it's easy to get to this part of the race and lose concentration. Okay, there's Marco. He's got Chris on his tail. I wonder if Chris is going to try and get past him so he finishes on the same lap. There he is. Marco might be a gentleman and let him go. Is he going? No, he's not. He's saying, you're a lap down, pal. There we go. There's our race winner, Marco Schelp. A textbook finish for Marco. He's raced incredibly well. He did the same thing in Ruapuna. He led from start to finish. Very professional. Raced a good race. Kept it clean. Kept his nose clean. Had pace. Was consistent in pace. He wasn't the fastest car out there, but he was clearly the most consistent. 20 seconds ahead of Sam Collins and a lap ahead of third, which was Chris Henderson. So we'll have a quick run down the classes. So Marco Schelp in Class D, Marco Schelp, Scotty O'Donnell and Alan Dippy, and then Martin Dippy, and then the Derek car for fourth, Chris Nichols for fifth, Steve Scholes sixth, Danny Whiting seventh, John Buchanan in eighth, and the Horn car in ninth. So that will mean in the 1 hour, I would say, unconfirmed, but Martin Dippy will take out the 1 hour South Island Endurance Series overall. So congratulations. Class C, Sam Collins brought it home from Chris Henderson and Bruce Davidson. So Chris will be very happy with that. A good outing for him. The car's obviously gone well. Had a few issues early on, which probably cost him at least second place. But a good race overall, and another national holiday for Italy because of the excitement over there from Lucy. And the Class A, Daniel Kropp from Mark Meadows, Andrew Gibson and Paul Booth, and then Scott Bolt car, Paul Martin, Kitching Bartlett. They'll be a bit disappointed, but their good mates have taken out that class So congratulations to Andrew Gibson and Paul Booth. I'll be coming down for a beer at some point. Then 7th, Jared Morgan, William Taylor, Vaughan Maloney, Tim Dossett. He'll be a bit disappointed down in 10th place. Mark Denton, Art Marcus, and then Marcus Barrett and Bradley Rule for the Class A, 14 contenders. Great race, good, relatively clean race, a couple of incidents. I hope everyone's okay. But good clean racing. That's your 1 hour South Island Endurance Series. Huge thank you to the Heart of Racing for sponsoring the live stream. Hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to message us on Facebook or wherever and let us know where you're listening from or watching from. And we're going to, the cars will come round and they'll line up. We'll probably go down to Adam shortly and he'll interview a few people, and then we're going to have a bit of a break for lunch, and then 1:15 I think it is the 3 hour race. So make sure you got plenty of green bottles or whatever it is that you prefer, some crisps, some chips, and some dip, and some olives and some pickles, because we're quite, we're quality people, and make sure the cat's outside so it doesn't interrupt and want to go in and out all the time, blooming thing. And we're going to watch some more motorsport from South Island, New Zealand. There we go. Great to see that Chris Henderson on the front row there, Marco Schelp and Sam Collins, first, second, third. Okay, Marco looks like he's just driven for an hour. So there's Wayne from Michelin dishing out the caps. We've got Adam down there. We're going to go down to Adam. He's got Marco Schelp with him. Adam.
So here I am with Marco Schelp. He's had a lights to flag victory. How's that?
Oh, yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. My whole family is here. And we have our 22nd wedding anniversary. Congrats, my wife and me, 22 years. And she's not very often here, so that's a good result to show that it's a lot of fun, not crashing. Last time she was with me at the race was 2011, and I crashed the car, so that wasn't that good. So probably, I hope she comes out more often now.
So she's your good luck charm?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this time she's your good luck charm. Good luck charm.
Yeah. This time, yes. Yeah.
And so the race was pretty clean for you. You just sort of showed them a clean set of heels and worked through the traffic.
Oh yes, but it was quite a bit traffic. Andy said right on the radio, you quite overtook some cars, and I estimated it must have been about 400 to 500 maybe. It was good fun, and they are all racing really clean. It's cool, the slower cars. It's a lot of fun here.
And so you might be regretting a little bit not doing the first round now.
Oh. Yeah, well, it was after managed isolation. The first weekend after 8 months in Germany, I wanted to be with the family, so that was the reason why. So, yeah.
Oh, fair enough, Marco, and well done. I mean, 2 wins from 2 starts. It's a brilliant campaign. Unfortunately, you don't get the title, but you'll be pretty happy with your result.
I'm very, very happy, and Highlands, that might be a bit more competition then.
So that's your next challenge, obviously, off to the national finals.
Yes, I think Chris did a very, very good race, and it's the cars just from the garage after one test, so he will be faster in Highlands, and I'm looking forward. And the Mustang is reliable now, so I have to, maybe not to drink too much wine like yesterday.
All right, thank you, Marco. We'll go find second place position there, which is Sam Collins. Sam, where are you? Everyone's disappeared. Well, here's Chris Henderson in third. Seems Sam's disappeared. You're looking cool, calm and collected there, Chris.
Should have seen me get out of the car.
You had a little issue, I saw, sort of 3/4 of the way through the race. What happened?
I think it was more like a quarter through the race, actually. It just cut out. So, coming down here, the thing just stopped. So, Control-Alt-Delete, and it came back online and carried on.
I want to get you up to the front of the car because it's a beautiful car. I mean, if people that don't know, Chris has just built this car. It's taken him an entire year. After last season, things didn't go so well. I mean, you've won the 1 hour title how many times?
We've won the series twice, yeah.
And so, what an amazing, firstly, welcome back. Obviously you didn't win, you came third, but you're pretty happy with that, right?
Oh, look, just to finish was going to be a win. We did 50 laps yesterday on these old tyres. Just kept them on for today. This was just to see what we hadn't done right with the car. But, mate, it's pretty much all the old A86 in a new shell. But it's a bit longer and wider, and it's definitely a bit heavier to drive. I'm struggling with it.
So you're going to have to look at setups and stuff here. It's like first time out, you've only done one practice with it, and then you're out racing.
We haven't changed anything. It's as it all got bolted in. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And so what's your sort of plan? You off to the Nationals or?
No, we sort of just developed it. We're going to go and race Oscar this year. But I guess, yeah, I don't know, mate. We're just so happy to be here. Look, we rolled this on the trailer at 6 o'clock on Thursday night, and that was us just finishing with it. You know, it's been a mammoth effort by the guys.
So, I mean, you didn't even get time to put stickers on, right?
Right. They wanted it for Thursday. I said, you can't have it. We've got it. So, she's Virgin Blue.
And your super fan Lucy Payne is watching, and if I didn't do a shout out, she was going to kill me. And she will be very pleased that you're. If people that don't know, Lucy used to be our pit lane reporter. She was the biggest fan of Hendo, so she'll be pleased to see you back and have a result.
Yeah, good on you, Luce. Good day to Cherie and the kids. I'll be watching too.
Cool. All right. And so basically, you're just going to give it a little look at, and then Oscars next or the final. We don't know.
I'll see how keen the boys are. We've got a new set of tyres there, so a shame not to use them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, why didn't you put them on for this?
Oh, it's just been cheap.
I mean, people probably don't realise, I mean, it's taken thousands of hours from a car being destroyed at Invercargill last year to putting it back together and coming out and being third on the grid in a car that you guys have built yourself, right?
Mate, these hands are just wrecked. Like, hands, elbows, everything is just wrecked. It's a lot more work, and I haven't got another one in me. That's it.
Well done, Chris. We're just going to find the second place getter, which is Sam Collins, who seems to have disappeared. So what we'll do is we know who the provisional, here he is over here. Everyone keeps running away. The provisional winner of the series is, which is, hello. Well done.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you're not on the podium now, but provisionally it looks like you might have it, right?
Apparently, that's what Kate said. So I feel like a right burglar being down the podium and actually getting the title. But it's been 3 great races, and it's all about strategy, isn't it? You've got to get the car home. So I was a little bit relieved this morning when the derricks spun early on, so that gave me a little bit of a breathing space. So I really enjoyed it. It's been a great series.
Because this is Martin Dippy, of course. You and the derricks have had a pretty good battle throughout.
Yeah, well, we're both from Wanaka, and we've been going sort of side by side. So no, I've really enjoyed racing them. It's good. We're in the same sort of zone, same sort of cars. So it's been great fun.
And you'll be off to the national final, yeah?
I am. Yeah, I love Highlands. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Another weekend burning carbon.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll get the champagne, and then we'll try and find the second place provisionally. All of the results for all of the classes, if you go to the South Island Endurance Series Facebook page, once they all come to hand, obviously they've got to do all the additions and work everything out, and then it'll be online to be able to see that. But it looks like we can't find the second place getter here, but here he is here, behind me, Sam Collins. So I'm just going to grab a quick interview. So that wasn't all your way to get the second place, you had to work for it.
Yeah, I had to put my elbows out at the start. Yeah, but that's racing. I didn't mean anything bad from it. I stuck to my line and it seemed to work for me. So yeah, no, it was a good race. The track was busy. Most of the lappers were good. Yeah, no, we had a good clean race. So yeah.
I mean, obviously, last time things didn't work so well for you. You'd be pretty happy. I mean, you didn't get the win, but to be second is a pretty good comeback.
Yeah, you know, you're always going for the win. I love winning, but we've had nothing but trouble all day yesterday in testing. And I was even having trouble in qualifying. That's why I qualified 7th, but that's racing as well. And we're here and we got second, so I'm stoked.
So off to the national final, yeah?
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll do the 1 hour at the Nationals in Cromwell and see how we go, yeah.
And who will you be driving with for that?
Nick Ross will be back. So yeah, we'll do half each.
I think they're pretty keen to do a bit of a champagne spray for the podium, so we'll just step back and let them do that, because So that's a wrap-up for the 1 hour race for the Carter's Tyres South Island Endurance Series. Amazing 3 races. We've had dry races right the way through, which is really amazing because, you know, it is spring in the South Island, so not a bad result, really. So we'll just get this vision of the champagne spraying, and then we'll be taking a break for lunch. Basically, we're going to come back for the 3 hour race, which starts at 1:15. We'll be going live at around 1 o'clock, so we can just do a bit of a build-up for that 3 hour race. And then we'll be straight into it. And should be an exciting afternoon because there's some very, very fast cars out here for this, and some lap records are likely to fall, we hope. So there we go. We'll at that point of the day, we'll just wrap it up. So that's the end of the 1 hour series for 2020. And we will be back at about 1 o'clock for the 3 hour. So join us then. We'll be live on Fast Files. We'll be on Facebook and YouTube. So we'll see you then soon.
We've got to be racing. Yes, we are racing. Oh, look at the Camaro. Johnny Mac put it up the inside.
Vamos!
There's the Checkered flag. Give him a hand. Well done, Marco. This is about to get exciting. We're going to watch a true New Zealand motorsport legend, Greg Murphy. A well-deserved victory for the Heart of Racing.
Does he race there again, mate? Yeah, the only trouble with having a little red cross on the door, everybody thinks